Good morning, traders. It's time to stock and rock, of course. Let's go take a look at what's going on right now. Of course, a lot of focus going to be on this jobs report. Let's take a look at what's happening at this very moment. The SPY making the first move to the upside here as we get non-farm payrolls and, of course, unemployment coming in here at 7.7 versus a 7.9 prior. So unemployment rate for September coming in not too bad. And overall unemployment, that was the U6 USA unemployment rate for September at 4.1 versus a 4.2 estimate prior being 4.2. So essentially went down a little bit here, and that's going to go ahead and sound the alarm for the bulls as the bulls take control and the SPY goes higher. With this mention, I'm taking a look at potentially shorting the VIX here. Was looking at it this morning and thinking about what would happen after the jobs report. You can see it, the first spike down to the 13s. We're at 13.13 right now. We could keep coming down here right as we go towards the bell. Doesn't look too bad to even make a trade right here. So another place that I've been looking at and making trades on the VIXI is off the VXX. Yesterday, best trade on the day on that VXX. We'll talk all about my day coming up here, guys. Taking a look to see if maybe I just take a trade right now in the pre-market. So wouldn't mind it here. Of course, I would have liked that first spike back towards 27, then taking the profits into the move already here. So we'll see if it goes back down through the 13 and definitely on the number, getting that spike down. VIXI, I expect to collapse today, especially if we're going to get that upside type of day. And the VIX here, the VXX, another way to maybe play this, you can see the downside action there from 54s down there, and it came back and it popped to 53, 86. Oh, that would have been a nice one to come after, hit right back down. And these are the trades that I feel like sometimes we try to make trading a lot hard, right? Well, this trade, it's kind of obvious. SPY going up, VIX coming down, easy, right? And sometimes we got to make it easy for ourselves and get after it here. So we'll see what happens there with that VIX looking good here, guys. It was a really great day for me yesterday. I really pushed it, guys, and I made a really good amount. So ready to keep battling. Of course, we talked about that right here on how I'm getting close to the end of the eval and I got to take the shots, right? That's the only way to make it happen, right? So today, not a bad day. We'll look to see if the SPY can keep going. The Qs can keep going. And with this, I had Google on the playbook, but look at it already. It's to 168.60. I talked about would it recover here into the 170 today. Well, it's already getting going. So I really like Google today as one of the top stocks to the upside. And there you guys see it continuing right here. And I also wanted to take a look at different plays today, right? We can take a look at American Airlines. AAL was another one on the playbook today, looking for the push above 11s. And of course, with these numbers, we're already getting that push. So it's going to be hard to play today if you get to the open, because by the time you get there, the market is going to be way higher. And that's a tough way to play it, right? So even Tesla today, I could see it coming right back up. I know that it's been on that downturn, but we talked about how 245, eventually the bottom of the gap, could also play as a support. It seems like 240s is playing as support right now. We're starting to come back up towards that 245. Could make it a 250 in a hurry. You can see it right now at 245.91. We'll look to see if this can keep running there. And I'll be watching different plays. I think that today is one of those days that you can definitely look to see what happens in the open. But right now, with this number supporting it, it's going to support, of course, also kind of the outlook that, yes, we are going to still rate cut. But the question here is going to be now, will the rate cuts kind of slow down? And I think that that's one thing that you can think about. Not today, maybe it won't be the focus, but I think in the next couple of days, especially as we keep going in this kind of rate cut mentality, there's something to think about, right? Of course, 488 will be a big watch on the Qs, but we could be right back up there, guys, maybe even back up towards like 490s today. And you can see how quickly we pull back. We looked ugly yesterday, and look how we're looking today. It actually looks pretty bright. And this is why you guys see me sometimes flip so much, right? Because the truth is that flipping sometimes can really make you money. So it's something definitely to watch here. We're not going to do too much of coverage right now in the playbook, because the truth is these plays already moved. right? I had some plays on there that I did want to watch. Of course, it was Google. I was going to take a look at Yang to see what happened to the China names. That's been really strong right now. And then long American Airlines based on the save or Spirit Airlines bankruptcy mention. We'll get to that action with today's Sunrise report. We can take a look around, but market's moving fast there, man. Let's go take a look at the VIXs. They're already down further. Yes, it is. We'll see what happens if this can cut through the 1314s and go lower. Would love to see a little bounce here to 1330s and then watch that fade right back towards the 13s. Of course, I've been playing it on the upside, right? I was able to play it yesterday. Really good trades there, guys. So we'll see what happens here. Another thing to think about is, will they just say, well, now we're doing a 25 basis point cut versus a 50 basis point cut? What can show us that, right? Well, take a look at the CME Fed tool today, and we'll take a look at this. I'll show you guys something that I watch that gives me a little bit of edge, and some people watch it, but I'll give you guys the insight on it, right? So what I do is I go to the CME Fed Watch tool, right? And what am I looking at? I'm looking at this right here. So I'm looking at the percentages for a 50 basis point cut or the current, right? The current, they say 0% chance, right? 25 basis points, they say here 10%, right? Or actually it's 10% for the 50 basis points when it was just a week ago, 53. So now you're seeing that change. This is what I wanted to focus on. So the data does include, of course, right now, the jobs number, which came in at 7:30 Central Time. This is 7:31. So they already flipped this. I normally look at this right before it to see how it changed. Even yesterday, it was at 32%. You see, what is it doing? It's downtrending on the 50 basis point cut. So now you'll start seeing the media mention this, right? So watch for the talk today. Turn on CNBC and laugh every single time that they mention this. And I want you guys to, if you can, just take a picture of it and clip me, guys. At me, MoneyMitch_TTP. Be like another one talking about the no longer 50 basis points, but 25 basis points on the table. And what will that do for the market? Would that be a negative for the market that we're not cutting as fast? Or is it the cutting fast showing signs of concern about unemployment? That's what a lot of people were concerned about. But the unemployment on this report not showing that sign. So the questions will start. Maybe this is just a soft landing. Maybe this is just as good as it ever gets, right? Euphoria, it will be kicking in today. And I think that you could see rips on the upside. Just after yesterday, everything looked like it wanted to come down. Well, today, look for potential upside. And I'll be watching that. I got some swing trades on. I still got a little bit of some cannabis, MSOS. I got Pakar with a really nice move. We've been waiting for this move for a while. So we'll talk a little bit more about it towards the open, guys. Smash the like. Pinkies up out there today, guys. What a beautiful day it was yesterday. Was able to battle back in the account and kind of battle, guys. You guys saw me making a really nice trade back and forth yesterday. So I wanted to kind of show you guys the action. Of course, you guys aren't being able to see a lot of the trades sometimes that I make after the fact, right? Especially in the afternoons. But I kept pushing yesterday, guys, and I pushed it pretty strong, right? I can show you guys here kind of the trades that happened here. And it was a hard little move, right? Was able to bounce back, though. You guys can see it here on the equity curve, of course. And finally above the 2,000 hurdle where I kept running into that 2,000, running into that 2,000, running into it. Well, I just jumped it yesterday. I got to 2,700. So now looking to go ahead and try to get another maybe 2,000, maybe get to 5,000, right? I mean, this is going to be hard as I keep pushing, but I'll keep pushing, guys. Yesterday, I made an $1,100 trade. Last Friday, I made a $1,200 trade. But yesterday, I was making multiple trades that were pretty big. And cutting the losses small, too. I did have a $222 loss there on AMD, which was a good little setup. I was up about, I had like 600 shares, was looking for AMD to get up there. And then I lost on that one, got right back in it, right? Because you can see it here. Exit at 162.89. I got right back in at 163.30 and rolled it up to 164.12. Another 600 win. And then I started to keep pushing it, guys, and keep trying it, right? I did even another AMD trade and lost to 140, lost 120. But they're small compared to these big wins, and that's what really matters. And that's what I've learned, right? As I size up, That's the biggest and most important thing. How can you keep the losses still small and get those wins? And when you do get the wins, ride them up to that level. Because to tell you the truth, if I keep taking, let's say, big positions, thousands shares positions, right? And then I keep trying to battle on what, right? I keep trying to maybe take quick money, take like 100 or $200 in the green. Yes, that does help me because it is green, right? And that helps the accuracy. But when you take the profit smaller than what you expect to take on the next trade, if you trade with that same size and you take one hit, it's going to wipe out 2 or 3 of those small green trades. And so that's the number one thing that we don't want to do. We don't want to kind of get so much involved in the share size that like you're going to step up, that you get to a point where you go ahead and you take very small profits. Because if you're taking small profits, then maybe you just need to size back down. Because if you continue with that sizing, you will take a loss because that's just how life happens, right? And then it'll take too much of a hit down and you won't be able to keep moving up that equity curve, right? It's all a balance, right? What you guys find works for you. As you guys can see, I try to teach you guys, especially through my journey, so that you guys can learn the ups and the downs, right? That's what it's all about. Pinkies up out there. Get after it today, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. We'll take a look at some of the sunrise report and see what's moving out there, but it's not a bad day and ready to keep trading. On the limited account, I am down a little bit, guys. I'm down 383. Yesterday, I just pretty much spent some, we'll say some fees, right? I set myself up in Yang and it never moved. If it would have just popped the tiniest amount, would have been able to make like, maybe for half of the account size that I needed to make. Yesterday, got up there towards, I started seeing it start to make a little bit of a move here at the end of the day. It started to go towards like 309. I actually ended up cutting it right before this kind of move. I cut it like at 306, 307, and I was averaged at 307. So I had a pretty good sizing there. I had like 4,000 shares. Got it even up to at 5,000 at one point, was just looking for a 10-cent pop and was going to take the $500. But we'll see what happens there in Yang. China stocks are up again, so got to keep an eye on to see what happens with some China stocks today. And right now, the way the market's looking, and you guys can see it, I mean, we're pushing. Both Qs, SPY pushing. IWM should probably be pushing too. Well, we'll take a look at some of these smaller names. What's moving out there right now? You guys in the chat, what are you guys watching? Let me know. We'll take a look. All right, guys, let's go into today's sunrise, see what's moving out there, what we can talk about today. First up, let's get into Save and let's talk a little bit about Spirit Airlines. And is this a good thing or a bad thing? Well, Save is talking about potential bankruptcy, right? And so that's something definitely to think about here. Let's take a look at what happened here as Spirit Airlines plunging 24% after its report suggested that it's exploring Chapter 11 bankruptcy. While the dock workers in the U.S. Maritime Alliance have reached a tentative deal ending the East and Gulf Coast port strikes that's finishing now. And so all you guys that were trying to trade the kind of port strike, that's done with here. And Save plunging on potential bankruptcy are the top 2 headlines today. So, of course, that's one thing that I'll be watching to see how this affects different airlines. But I think this could actually help these airlines. And you can see American Airlines making a move already. You can see UAL making a move already, DAL. And this is just going to support them. So now take a look to see if maybe how another one can report that can move the way that we were watching this one just prior. We were even watching this one just yesterday on Thursday, right? And so there you guys see it. Love holding pretty well now and wanting to make the up move. So I'd keep this one on the radar. I don't think it's my favorite out of all of the airlines, but it's also the most beaten down one that still hasn't kind of gotten that nice lift. So we are pushing out of this range, this kind of $30 range. This is a very important pullback at 30 if you do get another opportunity there. But if we start to make our way towards 31.50, this could really start to break that area and start to move higher, right? There was a little bit of a gap down here that we're starting to approach, and we could start making our way back towards 34 and 35. That's not a bad approach. That's still $3 higher, right? $4 higher, and could give you that nice lift, right? We're talking maybe potentially 12, 13% here. So we'll watch this and see what happens. All right, let's talk a little bit about Ford. Let's get into Ford as Ford is here. And it looks like they're talking about their new Expedition. And that's what's giving them a little bit of some momentum today. But they did delay pricing info for the 2025 Expedition until spring, with prices expecting to start at $55,000. So that's something definitely to catch there and something to think about, right? How will this help Ford or not? I mean, at the end of the day, guys, one thing I'm noticing is that these auto manufacturers are trying to make this a new norm, a new normal for $55,000 cars. I don't know about you guys, but something has to change here, guys. There is no way that the consumer can survive at these levels. You're talking about $700 to $1,000 car payments. That is not going to work for the middle class, guys. This is why I feel we will break the middle class. Consumers will go through a tough time, because the truth is, if the new normal is to have a $40,000, $60,000 vehicle, and that's just your average vehicle, holy moly, on the top end, you can forget having a sports car, guys, out there, because those sports cars are soon to go for $100,000 to $200,000, and we're talking the basic sports car. Not even like, your actual, like, let's say a Ferrari or something like that, or a Porsche. It's going to come to a time where the Porsche is probably like $1 million. So I don't know, guys, but this doesn't make me feel good about the auto manufacturers. This tells me that they have to raise the prices so much because of their labor situations and their EV situations. The two buckets that are just taking the money from the auto manufacturers. So at this point, I don't feel good about any of these. GM, forget even Toyota, because even I like Toyota and I think they can still sell. But at these prices, man, it's just atrocious. And what I think is really bad is that no one's talking about this, right? You don't have the presidents right now, or the presidential candidates right now battling and saying that, hey, we need to do something about these $50,000 vehicles. Is inflation done? Hell no, it's not done. Not real inflation, at least, because clearly you can see it, guys. There's no reason why an Expedition should cost $55,000 at the base model. Well, let's keep it going, guys. It's going to be crazy out there, guys. But let's keep going. It's good to see you guys out there. Eli, what's going on? How we doing? Jane, how we doing? Benoff, no position. We'll take a look at some of those smaller ones. And oh, Lord, I do own Save. Oh, man, that's a tough one to own. Jane, hey, it is what it is. I don't know how you own that company, because I absolutely hate Spirit Airlines. They've canceled some flights, not just only for myself, but others around me. And it's just been a lot of the times no help. They don't care. And it seems like the airlines overall just don't care about the little person. It was a gamble type of play. I can't blame you. It wasn't a bad gamble. And believe it or not, right now, it doesn't mean that Save is going to disappear, because they're still looking for ways. When a company mentions that they're looking into bankruptcy, they're also mentioning that for a reason. They're trying to put out PR to see if there's anyone out there that just has money and wants to give it to them, right? Delta is the best U.S. airline. I like them. I think American is personally my favorite, but Delta, United, American, if you fly those three, a lot of the times it's not too bad, right? They're a little bit more expensive, but it's a little bit better experience. That's just what I think. All right, let's keep going. We'll see what else is out there. What's moving today? Let's keep watching on the sunrise. What else is out there? Well, there's an interesting conversation with Hyundai and Waymo. Of course, Waymo is owned by Google. I wonder how that works, right? I need to look a little bit more into that situation and like the revenues and percentages and things like that, how it affects. But Google already going higher, and with news like this, it doesn't sound like it's a bad thing. So, of course, Hyundai and Waymo is teaming up to add Hyundai's IonQ 5 EVs to Waymo's robo-taxi fleet, further boosting Waymo's already growing autonomous business. Of course, we know about autonomous because everyone's thinking about Tesla's event next week, but what do I keep getting news about? I keep getting news about other autonomous. Why are they doing this? Well, they're trying to get ahead of the competition that's coming next week, which is, of course, Tesla. So keep watch on how this affects these companies. But, of course, what do they mention here a lot of the times with Waymo? Well, we're already on the streets. We're already doing 100,000 rides a day, right? Things like that, right? And so we need to keep watch to see how this works. Definitely going to be watching Tesla's event next week. Don't miss it, guys. October 10th. If you guys aren't tuning in for that, well, we'll talk about it here. I'll tell you what, I'll definitely keep you guys informed. All right, let's go take a look at some other stocks trading out there. There is a CVS news out there, but they're just trying to think about potential breakup of its pharmacy and insurance units, trying to separate the company to see if there's any part of the company that's more profitable than others. And why? Because the companies just keep getting ripped and CVS value keeps just going down and down. So they're trying to figure out how they can flip this, right? One thing to mention, though, is that if they do flip it, of course, you'll get shares in probably both companies, right? And so I think that that's affecting it. And you can see this gap fill that it's trying to go for right now, CVS. So this could help it get to that gap fill. Gap fill is 66.75. Look to see if that gap fill fills. That's 3.4% away. It's not a big move, but still in play today. CVS, you can see it in the 15 minutes going up with the overall market. All right, how is the overall market doing here? Buy, continuing to the upside, continuing to rip. So even like I was looking at these financials to the downside, well, today it won't be that type of day, guys. It will be actually the opposite. If anything, I'd be looking to see which technology name could take part in the rally that hasn't partaken in the rally, right? So Micron has been pulled back and has had a couple of days. Yesterday, it actually finished green, giving us a little sign that this wants to come back. So it did fill the gap there. Now you can start to look for that move right back towards the upside, held the 100, nice little psychological level, could start making its way right back up. AMD was one that I traded yesterday, and I saw it bottom out around this kind of like 160 time and then started making its way back. So we'll see what happens with this one, as it did do a little bit of a spike here at 10 a.m. We'll look to see if this can continue going. It's starting to break through the trend line. It's trying to make a nice little attempt towards that upside. I'd keep this one on watch. This one could really start to get going. Held the trend line pullback look. Now could take out these highs to the left. These are going to be important. 168.73 and 168.68. So look for that level to be broken today if you really start to get going in AMD. And you can see it. It's pushing strong there from 163 to 167. Definitely one that's moving. NVIDIA, of course, moving. And you guys know that. This is going to be the approach to the trend line break. 125, 130 in play today. Could be right up there towards even 131. So that leaves room, guys. We're at 125. So maybe another 5 or 6 points today on NVIDIA. I definitely would keep it on the radar out there. And there's going to be more names. And I'm wondering what happens today in energy. Does it continue to take off? Because it's been a takeoff, guys. I haven't seen any pullback in that trade. And I've been looking for him, right? I've been like, man, how can I join this party? Well, Valero was definitely that way to play it yesterday. And I was talking about how Valero looked like a great opportunity because on Wednesday, we actually came down on this, guys. We made this down move to 135. that was the way to play it, guys. Yesterday, it opened up and it didn't give me a chance at all if I didn't take it at the open there. It went from an open 135 to a high of 140 real quick, 5-point move. And look where it closed. It literally just went green the whole day, guys. Hourlies all the way up there towards 5 p.m. A nice 6.36%. Definitely was on the radar. It wasn't something that I played. I was playing more the downside, but Valero really starting to get going. And now I need to look for an undercut of this trend line back towards 140. So today could be that day where we get the pullback and I get my last opportunity to play this ride up if I feel truly that energy is going to take off. Of course, that's going to have to depend more on the situation in the Middle East, because if we focus on the oil situation right now, oil situation is what the Saudis are saying, that everyone's doing overproduction and that oil's heading to $50. But of course, if there's more situation in the Middle East, that could push all of that to the side. And next thing you know, if there's any attack on supply, that's when the real concern starts going. That's when you could see oil spike to 90, right? And so, of course, I don't think anybody wants to see oil above 100 a barrel, but that's still a possibility, guys. We'll see what happens with this if it really starts to make a move, but definitely Valero's one to watch. SLB is another one to watch. Why? Because for some reason, this thing has some really good analyst ratings. So I would keep this one on the radar. It is trying to come back through the trend line also. You can see this on the weekly as it starts to turn here on Slumber J. We'll see if it makes its way back to $50, or like how I like to call it, the Slum Burger. Well, get your burgers today, guys, because I'll be watching for this one. Look at the hourly on this too. Really nice move as it continues to go higher. MPC is another one that I was looking at yesterday. Nice little lift off there. You can also take a look at PSX. Really nice pushes here in the energy space, and we'll see if they can continue to push. Solar names, how are those names continuing? First Solar might be one to look at today. One of the things is for certain, when oil starts to go higher, and for some reason when energy goes higher, these go higher also. So look today to see if we get a little bit of some pushback in solar as we get another kind of up day, right? So we'll be watching for that. Of course, cyclicals today will be also on the radar, as you are starting to get that little up move in the market. Could push it higher, right? Even though I'm looking to see these go down to the downside, like eventually I want to see Macy's come right back down, and I do want to short this. Right now wouldn't be the move, guys, especially with the SPY supporting the market. So as you guys can see, we're up high. We're going to look for some pullbacks out the gates, but definitely having a bullish open here. And gold could actually move up today, right? I know it moved down on that first action, but take a look to see if you get a little bit of reversal. Or will gold just start falling off the tape? If it does start falling off the tape, take a look to see what happens in silver also, because silver could be following it. And I think that gold is leading silver right now. Sometimes one leads the other, but for right now, I definitely think that gold is leading silver. We'll see if it can continue to hold on. All right, taking a look around out there. How we doing? AMD is always running with NVIDIA. They like twins. Yeah, you can actually take a look into this, right? And it's called correlation, really, right? I mean, if you want to take a look a little bit deeper, look into the correlation, right? And see how this works, because that can definitely help you. There's ways of separating the money and trying to have exposure to both, right? Of course, AMD, they do very similar things as NVIDIA, so they will trade similarly. But one thing to look for is when one or the other is leading. Yesterday, we did see AMD was kind of leading in the Qs, and that's what gave me a symbol of when we'd get that up move to trade AMD on the VIXI. So I went away from the VIXI, traded AMD to the upside, and then started to go back into looking into potentially going long on the VIX again. Did take a couple of different trades on the VIX yesterday, and that's what it's all about, guys. The VXX, though, did take 1,500 shares of this bad boy, and it's a fast mover. I'll give you guys that. It moves really fast, guys. I was able to get like 50, 60 cents on this really, really quickly. We'll see what happens there, but definitely something to look at in VXX. All right. I did get a mention in the chat about PayPal. Let's take a look at PayPal. Of course, PayPal was doing great and then ran into a little bit of a wall, but it was more based on the market, not necessarily PayPal. PayPal's been coming back, and I don't even like PayPal, but I can say that PayPal is coming back. And one thing's for certain, it's doing better than its competitor, which is Square, right? That's like the most kind of attached competitor. Now I start to take a look to see if Square can make the move, right? I think PayPal move is harder to go after here on those highs, right? It's already higher up and it's trying to hold that 90 EMA. You just tried to undercut it 3 times, so now you can approach back to that high, which is 80. But there's not much here on the chart that gives me the how far are we going to go, right? I mean, we're just slowly working our way back on the weeklies, right? So the next level from here could be a level where we start to make our way towards 87 and 90s. But at some point, we're going to run into the 200 exponential, and I think we can start a little bit of some pullback. But this has been pretty hot. Square, I like a little bit more today, as you could start approaching back towards the trend line and making a move right back up. So let's go to Square block right here. You can see a long-term trend line at the 68. Could make a move back here towards this high 69.40s and towards the 70 we go. If we can get that move, this starts to look like a little bit of a breakout here in block, and you can start working your way back to 85. This one to kind of watch. It's a very long-term trend line that you're trying to break, and the longer the trend line, the better it is when it starts to break. The more it hits, you start to see it, the more it starts to look bullish above that white thick line that you see there. We'll see what happens. All right. NVIDIA is at 11 million shares and AMD is only at 600,000 shares. I don't think that really matters. It just gets traded more often. It's really going to depend on more float size and things like that. But to tell you the truth, I don't think it really matters that NVIDIA is already at 11 million and AMD is only at 600,000. It just means more that there's more pre-market action in NVIDIA. And there's a reason why, right? There's pensions and things like that hold NVIDIA. There's a lot of big money behind NVIDIA. And that's a reason why I feel like it trades a little bit more, right? I mean, you can see it. It trades like millions on the 15 minutes. So, and a big part of this is just everyone's watching it, right? Not everyone's watching AMD. All right, let's take a look, see what else is out there trading this morning. I'm looking at the scanners to see it. And Zim down 12%. And just like that, guys, the shippers take a big beating right back to the downside. And now could be just a fade right back down, guys. So I'm kind of glad, we never got this kind of big move. I was looking to see if CSX was going to finally make a move. And it looks like they'll probably make the move today. The railroads could make the move today, even though the port's kind of closed. At least close the situation there that could really help the railroads out. But now you can start to see that move. We'll look to see if the shippers kind of get a little bit of a lift. If this one starts to get hit right back down, and I think that's what you can look for, right? There's a lot of these shippers that are a little bit higher. There are going to be nice opportunities for the short side, especially in trade the pool where we have an advantage where we don't have to worry about SSR or maybe trying to locate ship or something like that. Some of these you probably couldn't trade in a normal brokerage account because you probably wouldn't be able to handle the borrowing costs on some of these names. All right, let's keep going. We can take a look to some different names out there. I'm seeing some Bitcoin mentions in the chat, like Coin. We can take a look at Coin. I think this is really getting ready for the next move, and I'd keep an eye on it. It has pulled back significantly here and could start to make a move back to the upside. It's not bad ones to watch. At some point, I'm expecting a last quarter run in Bitcoin by the end of the year. So I'll be watching these guys. At some point, they're going to get a nice little lift. The only question is when, right? Mara, of course, you can see it trying to get back through 16. Only thing that keeps me away from Mara is that they do still have a shelf volume that they can kind of do an offering at any moment. And whenever I have offerings that could be done at any moment, I get concerned, right? Especially when they literally have it right there. So we'll see what happens there in Mara if it starts to make a move into the 16. All right, guys, it's 9:10. We only got, 20 minutes before the bell here, guys. You guys know where you're at. It's Trade the Pool. I'm going to kick it over to the live trading side. It's time to roll up my sleeves, get to the live trading, get to the money making. That's what you're all here for, right? Well, smash the like. Let's get after it, team. Let's go, guys.
Wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money.
It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at. Let's get it, guys. Let's aim that ship. Let's get that money, like Michael would say. I hope he's having a good day, of course, staying safe out there. The whole team staying safe. I hope they enjoy the holidays, of course, right? Holidays coming in, especially all the Jewish holidays that are coming. I wish you guys the best of luck, of course. If you guys take some time away from the market and to spend some time with family, hey, have a great time. Stay safe out there. And we'll continue battling here, right, in the trading seat. I'll be here all week next week and ready to keep pushing, guys, as we keep trying to take it into the account, right? We'll see if we're able to make another great day today in the main account. We'll be pushing it, man. I'm trying to make another $1,000, $2,000 today. So let's go, guys. Let's see what we can come up with. All right. So, of course, it's time to really kind of think about how we're going to do this, right? Of course, we could take a look at some of these smaller cap names. If you guys want to take a look at them, just let me know in the chat which ones you guys are watching. I know that you guys are taking a look at there at the Ben F. Trying my best to not look at these in the morning, guys, because the truth is that I do want to trade these every time I take a look at them because the patterns are there. Right? Sometimes the patterns work, sometimes they don't. And I think this has more to do with IWM when it's in favor, when the penny stocks and small cap names are in favor, because that's what I think happens here. We go like where there's like 3 or 4 weeks where a lot of these small cap names are working and the patterns are working. And then we're going through a little bit of a tough time where you have like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even a month, where the small caps just don't work. They just don't work, man. The patterns don't work on them. It doesn't play out to the way that at least it is in technicals. And so that's the hardest thing, is determining when that is happening, right? When they're aligned with the data and when they're not aligned with the data. It doesn't always exist, and that's when we have to be able to hit the brake pedal. That's what I noticed with the smaller caps, because the truth is that there was a time there that they were just working for me. Day in, day out. All I had to do was come in the morning at 6 a.m., look to see which was getting that volume pop and was already gapped up, and the stocks went higher. Literally, it did. I was trading off the pattern there, but it didn't matter the pattern there. It was more about volume and being up and showing up at the top end of the gap scanner. At this point, that's not the same way that I've been seeing it the last couple of weeks. So I've been taking some hits on that. And I've realized, you know what? I'm just going to put these on the sideline, not worry about that towards the open. If anything, take, pre-market trades in like the overall market or something like that, because that could give me a little bit of an advantage going into the open. But for right now, the small caps, I'm pushing them on the sideline. But you guys out there, let me know when they're really working, right? Because that's the truth. There's other traders that are going to be wanting to trade these. And can it mean that I can't take a look at them? I could take a look at them. I'm just going to try to do my best not to just keep sizing in and going after these names, right? And that's the truth. If I come after these, has to be with tiny sizing, because every time I go with the big sizing in these smaller cap names, it's very hard to manage. And that's just the truth, right? All right, let's see what else is out there, guys. How we doing? Everyone is grabbing toilet paper again because of the strike. Oh, man, the strike's done, man. So don't worry about it. What else out there? Where do I find the candles? All right. Well, I can kind of show you that in a second there. So I know that we're going to get into a little bit learning into different candles. Stick around, guys. I want to show you guys this right on the channel. You guys can do this on the platform too. All you got to do is just change over here. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up, guys, how you guys could be kind of changing things up and going to some different outlook. And to tell you the truth, guys, it all depends on what you like using, right? We'll talk a little bit about it coming up, guys. I know that we try to do a little bit of a topic every single day. So, David, if you want to catch that conversation, right, what I would do is I would jump in a little bit later if you just want to catch that conversation. If you're here for the live trading action, stick around, but I'll get to that at 10:30. So I'm going to go ahead and set a little bit of an alarm here for me to let me know at 10:30. But we'll talk a little bit about different ways that you guys can set up candles. And there's so many different ways, right? I mean, I could do it right here on kind of TC also. So I'll show you guys different ways, right? There's many different ways to look at things, and even sometimes like bar candles and things like that, right? So plenty different ways to kind of trade this. And if you guys like regular candles, hey, well, shout out to you guys. Stick with that. But if you stick around, I'll show you guys a little bit more about how you can be using different ways to take a look at candles. All right. I don't think that Trade the Pool has it on that software. Yeah, it doesn't have it on the Trade the Pool software specifically. On the Trade the Pool software, you'll be able to do like kind of bar. You can do dots and dotted line and histogram, area, line. But here, on TC, I can do it. So I'll show you it in a little bit here. And this also tells you that there's nothing wrong with also paying for a charting service and then executing your trades through Trade the Pool's platform, right? That's what I do. You guys see all this on the right-hand side. That's Trade the Pool platform. And then I use TC here because it's my favorite charting platform. Why? Because I just feel like it's more symmetrical. I have things like, indexes that aren't available on Trade the Pool's platform. Have things that work for you. This is all about having tools in your tool belt, right? I talk about this as tools in your tool belt. And just like you need to have different strategies, you want to have different tools in the tool belt to use, right? At this point, you can't just try to use one tool. And you can, but it's not going to give you the advantage. I always look at softwares and services out there that can help me stay in the green, right? All right, we'll see what else is out there. That's what I do too. Yeah. What the key here is, like always, guys, is taking a look at what you guys get into. Let me see what else is out there. Small caps are so volatile. Yeah, and that's for sure. All right, let's take a look at what else is moving in the market. I did see ADTX as one of the smaller caps that are also setting up here. And you can see the setup here on the 15-minute. I actually like the setup. These are those setups that it's like, man, how do I not come after this? Because the technical setup is there, guys. And I'll kind of draw it out here. I always kind of draw this out and call this the rule of three, and you guys can look into this. But here, I'll put it on the 5-minute to clean it up a little bit here for us. And you guys can see that on the 5-minute, right? So you get this first move up. This is resistance 1. On supports, I'll put a square. Support 1, right? And supports are areas. They're not just one point. This is one thing I want to drive into you guys to understand a little bit more in technical analysis. Here's drive number 2, right? You get another move up towards the resistance line and reject it. And it's usually just an area. It's not necessarily just a point like it was here. Another area there, right? Then you get a move back down towards support. This is not support 2. Some people draw this as support 2. Not support 2 because you haven't made the resistance 2. You have to make a resistance first before you create the support, right? And so in case this is support number 2, then we get a resistance try number 3. And now I usually look for support number 3. Support number 3 is usually going to be a test down into this area slightly below the VWAP. And then you get that full opportunity here, right? And then I can draw the trade completely. Depends on how you guys want to draw it. But the way that I see it is a move up here. The stocks pull back, right? Quick pullback, loads up, starts to get that move, then starts to make a little bit of a breakout attempt, then pulls back, right? Catches some of those buyers on that move. Now you're starting to get that break up. Then you get this little pullback, and then I'd look for the rip, right? This pullback could come back even as far as this support. That's one thing that I always keep in mind. There's layers to support, right? So support 1 would be the first layer would be right here. The second layer would be down to here towards that 205. So a lot of times you get these little wicks into this and then the move right back to the upside. We'll see if we get this breakout right back towards the 240s, and the rule of three broken down today right in front of you guys before the market. So do me the favor, guys, smash the like if you guys like getting some strategy outlook here, especially before the open. And this is a strategy that I use often, guys. You guys will see me use it. And a big part of this is what I really love is that it gives us an ability to take a look at the resistance support and almost wait to and this helps me because a lot of times when the stock is coming back up for this second resistance move, I start feeling like I want to chase. Oh no, but it's going through 230. It's going to rip. It's going to rip. It's going to go to 250 and I'm going to miss the move. So then a lot of traders will size up there and then they get washed out. But if you're looking for these support moves, you can be adding on support. So the stock goes up. The support was right around this level. Let's say 202. I see it balancing at 203. I take 100 shares. The stock goes up to 230. It doesn't break out to 250. Well, it comes back to my layer, hangs out above my layer, starts turning around. I add at 214. Now I'm looking for the breakout above the 230s. It stops there. It comes and pulls back. It hangs out above my level. Well, I can add there and then look for the bigger trade. Adding, letting the position go through. And even if you wanted to, you could sell some at the resistance every time. Play the range until it breaks. That kind of thing, right? So I hope that you guys appreciate me giving you guys that outlook on ADTX. All right, what's up out there? BENF, short around 240. Was away from the computer. We could take a look at that one. I know that you were looking at that one a little earlier. BENF, 240s, not a bad one. 1, 2, 3 attempts, one more attempt. I like it. You know what I mean? I can't tell you to trade it, but I'll tell you one thing. I can't blame you. And I like how you're saying around 240. This is so important. Good mention there about the around 240. Not going to be so particular that it has to be 240, but around that point, it starts to get extended, right? You can clearly see that on the charts. Now, always keep this in mind that when you're shorting day one movers, it's the riskiest move. And it just means that you're also getting reward for that risk, right? So make sure that you're going to get paid for that risk, right? That the reward makes sense to you because the risk needs to be also here. It's going to be big, right? So the reward needs to be that much bigger, right? That's what's important. I think when you're shorting, especially these small caps. All right, guys, stay safe out there. It's going to be a beautiful day today. You know why? Because it's Friday, guys. Smash the like. Fridays have been tough, guys. Last Friday made a really good trade, and a lot of that is just going to be just watching the market today, being patient. Right now, the market says up, 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 up. We'll see if that changes towards the open, right? And a big part of that is the unemployment data that came in today, which is supporting the market. So now we need to take a look to see if there's anything else that comes in here. Maybe it's maybe it has to do with the war. Maybe it has to do with different outlooks out there. Maybe some Fed comments saying 25 basis points. Look out there today, guys. There will be something of a shakeup. If not, if it just stays like this and there's nothing out there that shakes the market today, it points to me to the upside, right? And so we got to look. Always have the situation awareness to be thinking on both ends of the trade, right? There's either a bullish trade or a bearish trade every single day, guys. And so we need to be thinking about that. Today is a flip of yesterday where it was really bearish, now starting to look extremely to the upside. And yesterday I mentioned how you were looking at sentiment readers, and they were starting to say extreme greed. The extreme greed is in the market. And when you get unemployment data like it did today, the extreme greed is going to be out there. They're going to be trying to make that money today. The question is, will the market let them? That's the truth, because the market determines things, not us. Pakar will be one, of course, I'll be continuing to watch to see how that one can continue moving. Yesterday, at one point, I had 600 shares of this, guys. And this eventually went up to 102. and I had it below 100 with 600 shares. So I could have made a nice little $1,200 trade on this. I ended up just making about 60, 70 because I just didn't want to let it go back to the break-even spot. But then I did the swing trade on this, and I'm looking great now. It doesn't look too bad at all on the swing side of things. I got a good position here. I have from 109, I got 150 shares. I'm up a pretty decent amount. Going to look for this to start going. We've been looking for this move for so long, guys. Take a look at the date. I've created this on September 20th. Right? We're already October 4th. It goes by fast, guys. Looking for the move up there towards the 104 and 108s. It could get all the way up there towards that 108. So I'll be watching for that move back into that gap zone, and we'll look for deer today. So if I'm looking for ways to continue riding this wave, deer through 420 makes sense. Haha, pun intended, 420 with MSOS also looking for that to go higher, right? So I think you got to continue to watch this. Look to see if you finally start to break up here and start to make a breakout above that on deer. Looks good, guys. And the leader right now is Cat. Cat's leading the move. Look at the daily chart. Trump mentioned Cat just once, and then boy, oh boy, did it give it that nice jump start when it started the gap up here in the 370s, and looks like it wants to take 400 and keep going. If you think about it, look where Caterpillar is. This might be one of the best investments going forward, because whenever it pulls back, even in tough times, this has continued to move forward. And why is this going higher? Because of the inflation, guys. I could just imagine how much these like rock trucks are costing now. It must be insane, guys. What time is it? Do I have time to take a look at that? 9:26. Price of rock trucks. Oh man, guys, how much does a Caterpillar truck cost? $5 million. That's it. Just $5 million, you know. Oh man, guys, that's one thing that I definitely want to take a look at, guys. It's something definitely to be thinking about, and I think that's something that I'll be watching, right? Could this just continue, right? And it could, right? Deere also has very similar products. Pakar, very similar. So I keep these on the radar. They can continue lifting higher, man. MSOS today, guys, is going to be on the radar too. This could make a move above 7s and go towards 8 today. That's what I'm watching for, guys. I've been in this for a while. I got out and I got back in. I'm proud of myself on that one, guys, because it's so hard to do that. Get out of a swing trade because it's coming back to break even. Get out, get out, get out. It was super uncertainty yesterday. And then when it came to the close, things started looking better. I said, jump right back in it, Mitch. You know what? Double size and break even. And that's exactly what I did here, guys. I went double sized and I'm holding towards the $7. It's at $7.15. I got 1,200 shares. Heard that right. 1,200 shares on the swing. Taking a big boy trade there. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. Open coming fast. Got that MSOS. I got Pakar. Looking all great in there. We'll look for those to continue to run today. If I had more buying power, which I wish I did, I'd buy more. So, Michael, I know you're listening out there. I need more buying power on the swing trades. Más dinero. Vamos. All right, guys, let's keep it going. Let's make that money. Dinero. I'm here for that, guys. I'm here for the green. All right, looking around to see what else is moving, what else we're getting conversations in the market. Looks like Israel military saying 250 Hezbollah fighters killed in southern Lebanon since the start of the ground operations. Israel military says it's still assessing damage from the strike. So definitely keep your eyes, guys, to see what happens. Definitely need to be seeing that conversation and keep a very close eye on what happens. Fed William does not comment on monetary policy or economic outlook in prepared remarks for conference. So Fed Williams had an attempt there that he could have talked about the economy. He chose to not talk about it. We'll continue to watch. Hurricane Helene to cause $4 billion to $9 billion in insured losses. This is ridiculous, guys. The inflation is actually causing insurance to skyrocket. And moments like this isn't going to change things. This is not good for the consumer, guys. These insurances are going to go absolute berserk if these prices continue. Something needs to change, guys. If not, I don't want to see what things are looking like in 10 years from now. Guys, you're going to be paying like $1,000 for insurance a month. So I'm a little worried about that, guys. But hey, it seems like nobody else is worried about it. So we'll just continue going, guys. Good morning to you, FJF. It's good to see you guys in the chat. And if you're new to the show, or for some reason, just want to say hello. What's going on out there, guys? How we doing, traders? It's good to see you. All right, getting ready for the open here. Steve giving me an alert to the upside. So Citi bouncing back today, guys. So Citi's actually on the up break today, guys. So take a look at financials. You can be watching them to the upside today. We'll see what happens there. VIXI, going to the VIXI, guys. It's at 1326, guys. So at this point, it's what's going to happen out the open here. Is it going to be a straight move down out the open? It could be 931 here. Let's see what happens. It's holding right now. SPY's coming down here. I think this is interesting today, guys. Do we bet to the upside or to the downside right out the gates? A little part of me is betting down out the gates, and then I'll look for the downside action. VIXI's bouncing here, and I'm going to go shorting it in the limited account. I want to go after this today. Let's see what happens. All right, where could I find that level to really kind of short off of? Hourly charts, hourly charts, hourly charts. 1340s is the risk right now. That's where I could see it kind of really getting hot to the upside. So I would like to see 1335s, and I can risk right above it here. So I'm going to look to see if I can get that here and really get after it here. So I'm not jumping on it just yet. I'm looking for 35 on the bid, and then I can hit it and then risk off the 45s. Nvidia straight down out the gates. SPY straight down out the gates. Pakar pulling back a little bit. VIXI trying to get going here. Another way to play this would be the VXX to the short side. That one's a little bit faster moving and could be a little bit harder here. So I'm trying to stay to the smaller moving one and look to potentially short it here at 35s. I could come after it at 32s right now, but it's still leaving room that the SPY's dropping, and then all of a sudden a spike in the VIX. You can see there's a 4,000 sell at the 31s there. Just wanted to make an attempt to go back through this high, especially. So you can see to the left where we cut in on the report, the jobs number, right? So you can see that high right there is 1333s. We're rejecting off of that right now. I want to see a slight wick go to 35s here, and I'm going to get after it. So I'm going to already put the 35s now. I'm seeing the market pull back a little bit here. And the SPY's dropping. It's dropping there, guys. You're definitely getting opportunities for a little bit of a pullback action if you want to come after it here. Nvidia dropping fast, Q's dropping fast, and that's going to give you opportunities. I'll be watching also to see how, of course, the certain sectors perform here. I can take a look at the action. We're already rejecting that 33 a little bit. I'm looking for a little push above here. VIXI still holding in as the time being right now. If I take a look at the sectors, I see energy up big, technology, financials, just slightly red. Everything else in the red, and healthcare and defensive leading the downside action. Looking for about 50% retracement of the recent move there in the Qs and the SPY. And so the action there is really going to be important to take a look at that. So that puts it closer towards 486.14s. We just went down towards a low of 486.45. You're already seeing the VIXI dump back towards the 27s here. Looking for one leg down there. VIXI already rejecting that 33s, starting to come down already. Do I just chase it here? Wanted 35s, maybe being a little picky. 2 cents there. We're already down 5 cents. 6 cents there. Now we're down 8 cents here from that level. So could have been already in there looking to take profits into the 23s right now. So good looking move on the first action. SPY still kind of hanging out there. So I'm looking for a little bit more decline, a little bit of a fake out here. But if the stocks just really rip, that's something to look at. NVIDIA is trying to come back here. AMD, that's stronger. That's why I mentioned earlier. I talked about how AMD, to me, was just strong yesterday and was really trying to get going. It's up there to 168. Be careful because AMD loves to take a quick little move after a big rip. So I'll be watching that either way, and definitely something to watch there. And watch the cues to see what's up there, right? I definitely think technology is going to be leading today at some point, and I'll be watching for that action. Of course, energy is leading the action right now, so keep an eye on it. Warner Brothers even getting a little lift today. I'm wondering why that is, but hey, that's something just to look at. NXPI showing up on the scanners. So I'm just watching in here to see what can take lead. Meta to the upside, guys. That's a little bit of a breakout sign there. And I talked about how the products were pretty good, and at some point I felt like they were going to get a little love. Today they're getting that love. Nice recovery yesterday, and looking strong right now is Meta. Q's right back up there. Missed my opportunity this morning to short the VIXI at the 1333s, already down to the 17s. That could have easily just been right there. A nice little $150, $170 trade in the limited account. So, hey, is what it is. I'm just going to let it go for the time being. Don't take too many trades right out the gates. That was the opportunity there. Now I'm going to stay on the sideline towards the 945. Take a look to see what happens here because we're getting a little bit of some mixed noise, and that's normal at the open here. So just going to continue to watch to see how these stocks perform. XLE straight down out the gates there, even though energy is going higher today. It was gapped up. Now it's starting to take a hit here as it starts to come down. Take a look out there, guys. This one's going to be one that definitely to watch out there. All right, definitely seeing that energy come right back down. So that's going to give you opportunities actually on the downside to look for those pullbacks, right? Look how quickly Valero comes back towards 142. So taking a look on the daily chart to see if this can come back towards actually 138s today. So we'll see what happens there in Valero, pulling back fast out the gates. So that could help you if you wanted to just take that motion and try to maybe play the momentum to the downside, the pullback. Drip is one way to maybe play that, right? We just broke above the 10. We're at 10.06, so maybe slight pullbacks below 10 is a way to go ahead and get after the drip. Hey, we'll see if you catch that drip. What's up out there, traders? How we doing? What are you guys taking a look at? Stay safe. Let's go. Nosedive Fridays. I'll tell you one thing. It's more like nosebleed Fridays because it's tough, man. It's tough. Forward on the way down there, GM pulling back there. Look to see if GM goes right back to the upside here. You guys can see how it's trying to set up there for an up move. We'll look to see if it goes back up towards 46. Look at that, holding well there. Holding well there. I don't like GM, but hey, if Tesla's going up, it could definitely push GM and Ford. I talked about how Tesla could be an opportunity today going back towards 250s. It's already at 248.60s. We'll see if this can continue to run back towards 250s. It's in play right now and pushing strong. Held the pullback right there at the VWAP. Now pushing right back up to 248. SPY still red here. That's where it gets a little concerning. What's going to happen here? Financial services leading now. Technology just slightly up. That's interesting. UAL, AAL with a nice spike right out the gates. Talked about that was on the playbook today, guys. And I talked about AAL just a couple days ago. So there it goes. Nice little move here up towards the 1180s. That's helping it out. And what is that? That's all off on the save conversation. So definitely AAL, nice little spike out the gates there towards the 1190s. Now be careful for a little bit of a deeper pullback on this next move. I'll be looking for pullbacks back towards 1130s and 11 back down in that area. I don't mind taking a buy, but it needs to come back and kind of wash this opening action out. Google kind of holding the pullback, but not really making the next move. I think this could go to 170 today. I'll be looking for some pullbacks as the SPY just doesn't seem like it wants to make another move to the upside right here, but it's just hanging out. It's just trying to find some buyers. CVS, of course, mentioning some news about the potential split of their strategy. And CVS, nice little spike out the gates, got there to 65. We'll see if that can continue moving. Block was on my radar today. That's pulled back right here out the gates. We'll look to see if it recovers and makes a break towards 67. PayPal right now pulling back there. We'll see if it goes back to 78.90s here. Does it start to pull back? It's trying to make the move back into 79, but could go to 77 today. SPY just hanging in there. We'll see what happens. It did make a nice move in the pre-market. Let's see if it takes another move here in the intraday. What's doing well in the SPY? Let's take a look here. I saw Carnival showing up there. Little leisure play there. Look at Carnival go. NCLH was one that I was looking at earlier in the week, of course, with the kind of the pullback that we got from CCL's report. Look at NCH starting to go today. Doesn't look bad off that 2010. And of course, this is in the cyclical space, so this is not a bad area to look at today. Nice little hold of VWAP twice. Now just broke the resistance at 2025. I would love a little pullback here towards 2020. Could risk right off that 2010. We'll see what happens there. Could also look at RCL, the best of the breed, right? The leader in Royal Caribbean. That's actually doing pretty well today as we're seeing what? We're seeing leisure have a pretty decent time today. Airbnb, how's that? There you go, right off the VWAP, trying to recover here. Has been kind of pushing back. Just kind of came back to the 90 MA. Could go to the 132s, 130 today in play. That's $2 higher. I don't mind this one. Looking good here as it starts to get back above the VWAP. Now SPY trying to make the move, guys. And one thing I'm seeing is that the market is trying to rip to the upside and trying to find some buyers, but we're just not getting it. VIXI, though, is pulling back. It's back down to the 1330s. So that was definitely an opportunity to make $200 on the limited account. A little frustrated that I didn't take that trade, but just got to push that frustration to the side. Go to the main account and go working, man. It's time to work. Let's go. A car staying green, that making me feel good about the swing trade. I'll take a peek into the swing trade. Look at that, now up 349 in Picard. Gonna look for a nice move in Picard, guys. I'm trying to make a little bit more on these swing trades, and that's the harder part, of course, is trying to push to the next level on the swings. And so normally I've been getting towards like 600. Right, I want to push a little bit more. I want to see if I can make like $1,000 on it. But the truth is, you just got to hang tight right now. At this point, I'll be break even. I'm looking for a run here that can eventually get towards like 108. So I'll look for like kind of maybe 107s. 107s is kind of the top outlook. That's going to be $1,000, right? 107 is a nice $1,000 on the trade. We'll see what happens here. One thing I will do, though, is always put a break even on my swings, right? So at this point, the stock is way away from me, right? It's not close to me. It's pretty far, right? And so I'm putting a stop loss at -$3, which puts it 1 or 2 pennies off my entry. But this at least protects, no matter what, I won't lose money, but I'm going to try to let the market work for me and get me a big return. The big part of this, not losing money. The first job as a trader is what? Is it to make money? No, it's not to lose money, guys. Our first job, don't lose. Second job, make some money. What's up, guys? ADTX pulling back. All right, we'll take a look at that one too. AMD broke the daily trend line. Get it, Vic? MSOS kind of hanging in right now. We'll see if that makes the move towards the upside here. Would love to see that really get going, really start to push. Almost about $100 on that, but that's a big position for me, guys. It's not too often that I take 1,200 shares on a swing. But we'll see what happens. SPY still weak here, guys. Still weak. We could still see the VIX just start shooting right back. So I would love that attempt because it just gives us an attempt on both sides of the trade right now. SPY trying to make the move, but can't get going here. I'm watching it on the 5-minute. Decker's having a decent move to the upside. Match, or the Mitch stock. BBWI up there doing pretty good. And this tells me, right? These are a lot of names that were viewed weak, right? And they're starting to make that nice little pop, right? Look at AMD up there to 168.70s now. Really nice move there, guys. There's MSOS starting to get going. These are all looking good in the swings. I'm going to leave this alone. Stop looking at them too. That's another thing. Once you set the stops, stop looking at them, guys, because that's the number one way that I've seen it as ways that you can really kind of hurt yourself on trades, right? Is that when you start to really kind of overwatch them, especially on the swings, that really hurts, man. That never helps me. It never helps me to focus too much on the trade, because the truth is that's just the way trading goes, guys. And we could get a little bit of a pullback today. We'll see what happens. Definitely going to hold down here towards like kind of the 695 spot there for MSOS. Could have put a break even, but when you're that close, if I put it break even right now, it'll probably chase it and hunt it down. So I got to give it at least here 9 ticks away, right? 10 ticks away, something like that, to give myself a little advantage in the volatility for MSOS. All right, going back to the market here, taking a look to see if we get some pullback here in AMD. Q still kind of hanging out there, not really making the move. And so that's interesting. So to me, that tells me that you could still get a quick little pullback opportunity where it tries to wash the bulls, give some to the bears, and then all of a sudden we'll probably try to stuff the bears and stuff those bulls. They got a little bit too big too early. So that's the one thing that I have on alert, because the Qs are right now in the VWAP, yet you still have some names approaching the breakout on the upside. So we'll see what happens here. How's Apple doing right now? Down also. So taking a look at the big boys. Amazon's up. That's doing pretty well. Google's holding on right now to the 169.20s. Not a bad approach. I would still look for a little bit of a pullback on that. SPY and Q's just hanging out, man. And that's where it gets tough, because the move happened off the numbers, and now you're just getting this kind of reaction that is not, it's muted. That's what you call this, a muted reaction, at least from the open. Silver up on this. That's interesting. Silver making a move to the upside on this. How's gold? Gold making a move up on this. This is what I always think is interesting. So gold is going up here, yet we've got, kind of bullish move on the market. That's how it goes sometimes, guys. Coal making a nice little rip to the upside. With oil going higher, coal will go higher because energy is used, right? And it starts to get spent, right? So I think in coal, this is not a bad one to maybe make a bet on, even on today. I'll be watching the daily. This HCC has pulled back. The problem with the coal players that I find is how to play the spread. The spread's wide on these bad boys. It's not cheap. It's 30 cents. And so you have to go small and maybe swing trade on them. That's the only way that I've been going at them. BTU, I'll look to see if this gets moving, but a lot of times hasn't been making big moves. How those NNE and SMR doing today? All right, pulling back. SMR recovering already. We'll see what happens on this one. This one pulled back towards the 9 EMA. I'm looking for an undercut of the 9 EMA at this point. I'll pull back towards $10 would get me excited on SMR. NNE also. I could look for further pullbacks. I'm looking for like 14 coming back on NNE, and then I'll take a look at it. I don't think today's the day. If anything, it could pull back a little bit today. I'm just not going to play it on the downside because I still view them as bullish overall, but they are pulling back. JetBlue showing up on the scanners as, of course, we're looking at the airlines making a move up. JetBlue, really nice spike there, guys. Nice spike there to 760. This could pull back to 7 now. Just be careful out there, but I'll be watching for that. AAL also pulling back. We'll see what happens on that. Deere, what's up? Cat, Lockheed Martin. Trying to find what's moving out here, guys. There's a lot. Q's trying to make another move to the upside, but keep getting stuffed. What's up with SGMT? I got you. I'll take a look. All right, bioscience stock. It's trading off the 9 EMA right now. So, of course, momentum, right? Momentum is at 9 EMA. That's that light blue line that you see there. So you get that first momentum move up towards like 490s. It pulls back to the 9 EMA. Breakthrough 5, it pulls back to the 9 EMA. Breaks up, pulls back to the 9 EMA. So now you're starting to keep building and building off that 9 EMA. Of course, you can always undercut that and you look to see if you close below that, but it's bounced off that. This is the third time it's bouncing off the line. If it hits 504, and then you look to see if it goes to the 520s and higher. This has to have some news out there or something that's making it move. Could just be retail attention. Another thing to look at is where's the resistance on the daily. Daily resistance, put it towards 547. So you still got that attempt to go to the 540s, 550s. That's the area that I see as kind of like the top outlook on the upside right now. So at least you have that potential, right? Doesn't look too bad there on the 5 minute. Could be pulling back towards the 470s, 480s and trying to reload back through 5. But something that you can keep a close eye on here will be if you get that pullback. Of course, it's on the top end of the Bollinger Band. And when it rides that top end of the Bollinger Band, it's on the momentum move. And now you're moving back closer towards the halfway line on the Bollinger Band, which would put you somewhere between closer down towards like the 480s, 485, something like that. We'll see what happens here. SGMT. ADTX. Of course, this was one that we were looking at it to do the move of the rule of 3. And look at this, team. I didn't take the trade, of course, because it's not necessarily my type of trade there. But take a look at the action on the rule of 3, guys. Look where this came back to. Right off of that rule of 3 that we drew. We drew it before it was even in this spot. Finally comes in this spot at 924. And what happens from there? Boom, upside, guys. I drew it there way before the move happened. Nice little breakout there to 3. I hope somebody was able to nail that ADTX on an outlook. We broke down right here before the open. Smash the like, guys. Money Mitch, rule of 3. I'm telling you, this is the only strategy I've ever had a light bulb go off in my head. Just saying. All right, let's keep going, guys. We'll see what else is out there. Can we continue the move? Look at Picard go, man. I can't even look at it no more. I got to take the chart off. Got to take the chart off, guys. That thing's moving strong, and it just makes me want to run to profit. Like when I start seeing profit like this, it's like, run to it. Run, Mitch. Run. No, Mitch, calm down. Take it easy, man. Take it easy. What's the rule of 3, Rando? Well, later on, when you can, when you're done with trading yourself, Rando, take a second, rewind this stream. Right before the open, I talked about ADTX and I broke it down, literally step by step on how I go after it. And you can apply it in any time frame, daily, intraday, weekly, monthly. That's the real cool part about it. All right, guys, we'll see what happens. Got to stop watching Picard. This is making me too much money. It's hard to watch, guys. It's hard. All right, let's keep going. Forget the swing trade. Got to take Picard off the charts here. Could look at deer or something. I don't know. All right, market takes a downturn there, guys. The VIX's coming back, guys. I have a feeling you're going to get at least a little spike here with the SPY and the Qs testing the downside. Down she goes here, guys. I'm going to take a quick scalp here, guys. Let me see if I can get it here. VXX is the one that I want to try to scalp here. All right, guys, thinking about taking 1,000 shares here on a scalp here, guys. All right, so I'm going to go for it here. I just took 1,000 shares there, guys. Trying to scalp here on the VIXY. I'm in at 53.52s, watching it right now. Trying to risk off the 53.40s. Trying to keep it tight here, but looking for a nice little scalp opportunity here and seeing what happens here on the VXX. The SPY went down quickly here, so we're going to look to see if I can get a quick spike here in the VXX. Just got to watch it here to see if I can start to go into the 65s,
If I go to 53.70s, I'll go for an add here and then hold break even on it. See, they're quick trades, guys, but you got to be quick. Got to be quick on both sides. Let's see if the Qs and the SPY just come back up ramping. If that does happen, I'm going to get stopped out on this, but I'm trying to see if I can somehow see an opposite action in the market, right? Let's go, baby. Gap fill coming. We'll see. All right, 57 starting to approach here. So, all right, that's looking good here on the first action. Let's see what happens in the SPY and the Qs. Do we get another leg down or do they recover? Back through 571.50s, back through 486 would be that move where it's recovering. Right now, I'm only at 1,000 shares to keep myself within reach, to keep myself within a manageable risk, right? And then I'm going to be looking to size up here if it starts going in my direction. All right, pullback coming in here. Got to be careful for that takedown. I'm just looking to see if the Qs can come down here and make another attempt here. If they do make another attempt, we could see a double bottom on the 36 here, which is about 160 in risk, but got to get after it here. Got to go ahead and see what comes up with here. The big thing is the SPY and the Qs. Quick move down. Even Google got a big wash. It's down to 168, so I'm watching it here to see if we get the continued downside leak. And does it come back towards the 830 number? The 830 number, 484 on the Qs, 830 number, 570 on the SPY. There it is, guys. There's the action. All right, guys, so I'm looking to add here on the pullback. Add in the 60s, add in the 60s. 65. All right, guys, it's just giving me a rip here, guys. I got to go ahead and make sure that I'm staying with the action here. All right, guys, it just pulled back to that 70s. There's a takeoff there, guys. Nice little takeoff here. I'm going to go ahead and try to take off 54. That's 480 here. I'm just trying to get now the trade's pulling back on me a little bit here, looking for one more little pop to go ahead and just take some of the money. And then I'll go ahead and from that point, just kind of reassess here. 53.90s, trying to get 400 here on the first action here. Let's go. Let's go. I wanted to add on this. I have break even on this already, guys. See if we can get a pop to 55 here, 54. I'm just grinding up with the stop loss here, guys. I would have added there, but just didn't get the opportunity. It was too fast. Slowing down a little bit here, so that's one thing to keep in mind. I'm just looking for one more pop here to get it out. Pulling back a little bit there, guys. Could come back to the VWAP in a hurry, so just keeping with it, guys. Keeping with it right now. Momentum. So pull back on the 90 EMAs, 53.60s. Keep that in mind. That could definitely happen here. Qs went down there to that opening spot where you're getting bets off the 570s. So at this point, you got to be careful that. So does it break that or do we just get hard bounces here? I think we could get one more attempt up here. That's what I'm looking for towards the 54s. Canceling it right now. It's pulling back into the 60s. I won't let it go red here. Back at 53.80s, I'm going to add the 500. Orders out there. It's coming towards my ad, but stopping right there at the 570s. There it goes to the 60s. There it goes for the ad in a second here. Boom, just added there, guys. Got to wait for a minute at least, but now getting the action here. Let's go. Let's see if I can get a pop here towards the 54.20s here, and I'll take it all out. That's a nice $1,000 here. Looking for 1 minute to expire here to make sure that I'm at least going with the rules right. Break even now on my position, looking for the pop to 54s. Slowing down a little bit. You could get reversals here. There goes that 1 minute, so I don't got to worry no more about the profit. Gonna go for it here, guys. Even if I get cut out there, I'll only be $5 in the green. So no matter what, can't lose. Now going for the swing, guys. If we get through 54, I'm gonna raise the stop loss to these 80s. These are fast trades, guys. I will say that. They're a little bit harder to talk about, and that's one thing I will tell you guys. So if you're trying to like stick along with the trades, just understand that they're very hard for me to kind of explain a little bit because they're so fast. Looking for that pop here. Let's see if we get one more downside action in the SPY, and then I'll sell out in this move. It's pulling back on me, guys. It's not giving me the move. You could see the Qs just bounce off the 830 pricing from, of course, the unemployment number. We washed out to that number. That could be the bet there. I'm trying to see if I can get a little bit more here. There's a little pop there. Seeing a little wall at 54s. Google's starting to bounce back here, guys. I might have to just take a quick money and then look to see if I can get a little bit more later. Will they wash out this number here? Will they bounce here off the 570s on the SPY? All right, guys, I have my order out there, way up there, guys. I'm canceling it right now, trying to give it a little bit of that momentum. We're just hanging out here in the 80s. All right, guys, in a second here, I'm going to raise the stop loss, make sure that I get $100 at least. All right, seeing that little raise there. It's trying to hold the 60s and 70s and try to go into the 80s and 90s here. But if it pulls back, I'm probably going to take the money and run here. There's the SPY coming back here, and you're getting that bounce off the 570s. So you could see another move coming back to the downside here. So just be careful. All right, guys, I just have right now 20 bucks I'll make if it comes down and gets me, but that's easily if it comes down and gets me here. Now I'm just setting up. If it goes, it goes. If not, there's that attempt there. Let's see if it wants to make the move now. Now I shouldn't see it cut that 64, 65. I could raise it up a little bit here, but that's not going to give me too much more on the guaranteed money. Maybe 50 bucks, 60 bucks, but you just leave room to get stopped. Hunted on a little bit of a cut down, and so I'm just leaving it there above. I'm in the green, right? But I'm looking for a little bit more. Taking off my target profit here, looking to see if the VIX is going to make that jump. Come on, one more jump would be nice here. SPY down one more leg. Come back through that 570. So you can see this line right here. I even drew it in the pre-market. It's holding really well. It went right to it. We're in the 80s again here, looking for that spike there, guys. Let's see if we get to the 54s and just even get above the 54s for even a second here. It's in the 80s. Can't do it. Can't do it right now. 87 seems to be a little resistance there. All right, guys, we're in the 50s, 390s. It's all about the SPY right here. If it starts to make the up move, I'm just going to take the money. It's coming down a little bit. Let's see it. Let's see it. I'm trying to stick with it right now. There we go. There we go. Looking like it wants to make that attempt here towards the 54s. It's going to be all on the SPY right here. I'm looking at it. It's propping for the move here on the VIX. Will they take it through the 53.90? Just pulling back here. All right, guys, SPY's coming back up, so I'm just going to take the money and run here if it pulls back through the 70. So I'm giving it a chance here, but it's probably going to cut me out here. Now that I'm going a little bit closer to it, it's probably going to stop hunt me at the 70 spot here. I'm going to pull it back to 68. Give it a little bit more room, but you see it came back right there to 71. It was trying to get me on the bid. So here, I'll show you guys it as I'm moving it. I know that you guys like to look at this type of action. I think this is very important, guys. So you guys can see it here. I got no target profit, but I throw it out there in like the 54.30s. That's $1,000, right? So just keeping that in mind, always use that to tell yourself maybe, okay, so where's the target profit, right? Sometimes we lose the target profit in our mind and we want to know it. Just hold the target profit. Look where it's going. As this moves up through the 53.90s, I'm going to move the stop loss to that 53.80s. I'm just trying to trail the action here with the stop loss, guaranteeing gains. Watching the action here, guys. It's pretty tight here. The SPY could reject. 571 recovery. You can come back up with a lot of stocks there, guys. So there it is. Out on that, guys. Took the money and ran. Could get back into the trade here if the SPY makes another leg down, but definitely don't want to get caught in the down action where right there, all of a sudden, boom, you're back at 53.20s and I start to lose on the position there, right? So I could have taken maybe their 300, right? But that's not the idea. The idea is the $1,000 gain there. So trying to get after it. Let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. Shout out for Friday Night Lights. Yeah, Friday Night Lights for sure. There's the recovery, guys. It was a quick one there, guys. So the SPY could make another leg down. It did catch me at the 60s there. Now it's trying to come back up for that 53, 54 spike. I'm going to take a second here because if I just jump on the long right here, guys, that's easily how I just get caught, right? And so it's right back to that 80s. So it looks good there for that attempted move. What I could do is go for the limited account here if I wanted to, but the SPY could just kind of double or triple bottom at the 570s. That's what you're looking at right now. There's the move towards 554. They came and got me. Now they're looking for the breakout. Let's see if they get it there. At least if traders can get that breakout there, I won't feel too bad about going for the move. I tried to manage it there. Ended up taking some gains. Maybe should have held it break even there. But look at the 54 move there. There's 54s now. Do we get the spike through towards 54.20s, 54.30s? There's 54.05, 54.06, 54.07, 08, 11s. There it goes, 54.15s, 20s. There it goes, 25, 26. What a move there, guys. What a move. Look at that, spike into the 54.30s. That would have been the $1,000 trade, guys. That was a $1,000 trade right there to start it off, guys. Definitely maybe didn't hold it enough there, right? Look at the spike there, 54.40s now. With the 1500, this would have been nice, guys. Nice. So it was a good trade there. I'm not going to get upset about it, but look at that now. 54.50 SPY coming right back through that level, guys. Down, down she goes. Down goes Frazier. Now, I'm actually looking to see if there's going to be a quick sweep back up here, guys. That's the way the market loves to do it on a Friday. But look at that first action, guys. Got caught on that pullback. It came back to 57. So if I would have stayed in my original entry, break even, 52, would have been able to still play this. That's what I'll look back on and think about, right? But like always, traders, I'm just trying to teach you guys it also. Doing it in live action and teaching you guys it in live action is very hard, right? So that was it right there. I hope you guys enjoy me taking the time to talk about this, because I could just stay quiet and just try to focus on it. But hey, that's what it is, guys. Nice little move there. Now look, 54.70s. This is why it also makes sense to move the stop loss up like I was doing, because I talked about it. It went through 54. I could put 53.80s. It went to 54.20s. I could put it up to 54.10s, 54.40s, 54.20s, and just grind up the stop loss. As I keep moving it up, I'm just securing profits as it keeps moving versus taking half off and looking for the expansion move. That's one thing I used to do. I don't like to do it anymore. I just like to move the stop loss up and just keep trying to gain the kind of the secured money. What a move today, guys. 54.70s in the VXX. Another good trade. Yes, I still made 87. Not what I wanted to make, but hey, just keep moving, guys. That's what it's all about. Learning from our trades and how we can go at it. Tesla back down to the 244.70s here, guys. So I'm going to look to see that the market starts to work back in a little bit here. I'm going to let the down action kind of play out for a second here, but I feel like the SPY can make a wicked move back after watched out the bulls, let the bears in. Now I'm going to look for the market to stuff the bears. AMD, a strong move to the upside, right? Got stuffed. Now I can look for this to kind of play on the hourly resistance, right? It undercut that 165. Now it could recover that 165. That's what I'm going to be looking for here, guys. So between 164.90s and 164.30s, it's an area that I like on AMD. I'm going to go to the limited account for this one. All right, just took a little bit there, just 100 shares, guys. Nothing crazy here. I do want to add to AMD, but I want to give it a chance to break through that 37. And if it does break that 37 with 100 shares, I'm not too upset. I'm waiting for this to go back to green, and I can add another 100 shares. So just trying to be patient here. In a second, I'll look to see if the SPY and the Qs bottom and start working its way back up. VIXY already pulling back. It's a good sign. Okay, there's the first action. I'm going long, guys. Just added a little bit there on AMD. Oh, I didn't get the ad. How do I not have enough on that? Looks like I can't get 200. Looks like I can get maybe 150. Didn't even get the 50. Having some buying power issues there. A little frustrated on that. Should be at 200 right now on AMD. If anything, on my bigger account, this would be 600 shares. All right, guys, I'm just going to set the stop here and just get moving, because the truth is I need to go back to the main account, go make the money there. This is easily going to be 400 at the top. If it starts to break out to the top side, I could see this being a $500 trade. I'll take the trade there. I wanted to add there. Wasn't able to get that kind of add there. It's fine. I'm just going to keep moving. I think on MSOS, still doing good on the swings. Still doing well on even on Pakar. It's up 413s. Right back to the top side on Pakar. Look for maybe Deer to get back to the green today. I'll be watching for that. Cat maybe. But those are doing pretty decent on those trades still. All right, going back to it, guys. Going back to the main account. Going to look for some upside action here off the SPY. SPY did bounce a little bit there, trying to recover 570s. Stocks out could be a play there. I hate trading these leverage names. I've been doing pretty bad on the SQQQ, TQQQ. So I'm going to leave those alone. I'm just looking at the real names. Cleveland Cliff up today, guys. That's not a bad one. Steel play, that's doing decent. Picard is doing decent. Ship is actually doing decent. That's interesting. Even SBOK is on the green there. So I'm just looking around to see what else I can trade here. Can't go for that AMD because already did, but went after it maybe with the wrong size there. They got the Bulls pants down. Yeah, that's usually when they bring them back. We'll see what happens here, guys. Tesla maybe on the pullback. Man, that's so hard to play, man. Tesla is usually a nasty one for me. Nvidia 1, 2, 3. Rule of 3, guys. We just got that fourth attempt to break down. Now I would love to see this come back a little bit here. Test like you want to come back here. 122.30s, 122.20s, and I'll risk off the 121.90s for Nvidia. Micron, one to watch, right? I've talked about that one early on how it has a nice little daily setup coming back to yesterday's high, 102.13s. So 102, a nice area for it to hold. Just went down to 102.14. So it just tells me that that 13 area is a support there, and it's holding pretty decent right now. AMD looking decent there as it starts to come back. I'm just going to leave that one in the limited account working. I set the stop and target profit. Just let it do its thing. But just going to leave that one alone. Google also on the watch. It's at the 167s. It's been trying to break out, and now it's kind of running into a little bit of a fail. Can you reclaim that trend line on Google? Go back to 169.50s. Looks like it, guys. I like this Google. Looking for one more down attempt here in Google to go long. One more wick by over here in this area. If I could get a wick into this area, I'd like it. SPY already coming back, though. It might not even give me the chance. Thinking about buying it already, but hesitating a little bit here. I like it in this spot. I want it to pull back one more time. VIXY heading down fast, guys. So that could actually be an opportunity to short the VXX. I know it went up to 54.70s, but look how quickly it went back to 53.70s, right? And so it's a blow off top almost on the daily. That's the way I see it. So a blow off towards 55 on the VXX now could come back towards, let's say, 52 today. So this could be a really good potential play on the short side of things now. That's the way I can look at things, right? I can look for one more bounce here to 54.10s or something like that and short the crap out of the VXX. Still a nice way to look at it. Google just made that wick down, but not for far enough. I'm looking for a wick towards like 65, 70s, but it looks good here. So now it's, do I want to go play the VXX or do I want to play a single name? Both trades available to me. It's more, which one do I want to go after? NVIDIA had news and it still tanked. I don't believe in the news when it comes to trading, just the indicators. I actually agree with none of that, Rich. It's okay. I don't have to agree with you, though. If you feel like that's what works, right? To trust the indicators. The truth is that it's a mix, right? It's a mix of variables. It's a mix of indicators. It's a mix of story. It's a mix of market knowledge. That's the truth. It's not just one way. It's not just indicators either. That's what I would say personally. But hey, to each his own, right? That's how trading is. There's no book on trading, guys. There's a bunch of books made, but there's no book on trading. All right, guys, this is still hanging out there, and I can still see the VXX just drop like a tank. Deer is coming back. That looks great there. Pakar still doing great. Why do I still have that chart up? It's so hard to take a look at that, guys. But NVIDIA also bouncing there, now back above the 123s. Looking at this Google, it did come back a little bit, but not far enough. The SPY still dragging, and that's what keeps me waiting for one more down attempt in here to get that third bottoming around here, and then look to see if Google goes back to the upside. That's what I'm watching for. With the VXX, that could actually cause a spike back towards like 54.10s, 54.30s, and then look to see what happens there. So what I would draw here is a trend line approach, right? So let me do this hopefully before the action happens, because I don't want to seem like, you know, I'm just talking here. Look, watch, like this kind of, right? So I'm using this level here to make sure that the line doesn't break it, but hits it a little bit, like right around there. So I could see a little pop back into this area, and then rejecting this area. So right here, it's going to depend more on, does the SPY continue to break down, or does it just catch some bottoming around that 569.50s or 570 mark, and then starts working back to the upside. Google coming down there into that spot there, right? Now I get the opportunity if I want to take it there. What I need to look for is for an attempted breakdown here, and then a move back up. The big part is the SPY, because the SPY just catch 570s and go right back up. So now you're getting that underwick there through that whole dollar, which I'll be watching for some recovery. VXX, look for that spike into the 54.20s. Could also short that, right? That's a way to play this. Let me go look to see on the limited account that I get stopped out in AMD. No, I'm up nearly $100 in AMD. So AMD is just like, well, I'm not pulling back here. Well, now I move the stop loss into green, right? Because I got to make sure that at least I stay green on this trade. But if I can make a 400 trade, that's what I need on this limited account. So I'm looking to make that big trade where it goes back to the resistance on AMD. So that's AMD, guys. We'll look to see if that goes right back up there. I'm taking a shot on that one in the limited account, right? Could take the 112 right here and just kind of keep playing, maybe go for the VXX trade, but I'm just going to stick with this one. This was the one that I saw. I'll leave it going and keep it working. Once I get up towards, like, let's say the 167, I'll put the stop back towards 160, 165 or 166, right? Secure about $100 once I get towards, like, let's say $300 up. SPY heading to that downside attempt. So that's the approach where you see AMD come back here. We'll see what happens. That swing trade, it's so hard to hold right now. Market's coming down and it's hard to hold. VXX, there it goes towards that 54.20s. Google on that undercut and trying to come back. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go for it, man. Looking to see if the SPY will like hold up here, right? Because you still get a wick down, right? So I'm watching the SPY right now. SPY is trying to balance out, but will it balance out here? Giving it the chance to hit that 50s, 569.50s. See, a lot of times it's about watching for the momentum. Right now, the momentum is pushing down. Watching the momentum speed up on the downside. So I'm off the action button, off the click. Now will it hold here? The VIX just jumped, guys, jumped. So that's a bad sign there. Look, it's above this level, right? So it's actually spiking here. This could also be a short, but it's just a dangerous short to play because it's shorting a spike. It's like kind of shorting a penny stock that gets a quick move to the upside, right? So it's very hard to play here. I want to go and short this off the 54.70s. Boy, oh boy, is that risky. It's more about, will the SPY catch here? See how the SPY went right back to the low. It's trying to make a double low attempt here. Right off of this level. Will it hold there? I mean, you guys take the bets if you want, right? That's why I'm looking at Google, but I need to see it start to recover here. If not, I don't think it recovers, right? And so at this point, just watching it instead of reacting and trying to take bets. Because if I take the bet too early, I get washed out. come after this hard, guys, with 300 shares first, and then I'll look to add another 300, maybe get up to 900 shares of Google, but gotta see the SPY balance out a little bit here. Okay, there's that first action. Now I can go ahead and take a bet at least off the lows. So I'm letting it come back and try to test those lows, but it's not doing it right now. If it doesn't go red candle here, I'm gonna go ahead and take the shot. Slows down. It got literally 5 seconds on this candle. So I'm giving it a chance here to go red. If it doesn't on this candle, it's the action back. All right, there it is, right there. That signal right there, that first action back. That was my signal to take the shot. Now I got to set what? The risk first, right? What's the risk? Wash down through at least 162.70s. So that's first action, looking great here on the first action. Now I'm letting this candle test down here if it goes down to that spot. Once it starts to come back through the reversal, the 9 EMA, that's where I want to start adding another 300. That's right here, this 167.60s. There it goes into that spot. Now I'm looking for a slight dip. Slight dip. Now action back to 167.60s and I add. Back to it. Not yet. If I add too quickly there, it goes to 167.40s and I have 600 shares. Adding into the green is my one habit that I need to get better on if I'm going to size up. For all you guys struggling in the size up game, and trust me, I've been struggling on battling on it, guys, and I want to battle so hard. You guys see the intentions that I have in trading. There's one thing for certain. I have great intentions, guys. I'm trying to get to success. I want to see all you guys get to success. Hope you guys enjoy it here, because that's really the truth. And I'm trying to make it a stream that's not only fun, it's educational, and you guys can truly learn from my experience. The battle's on there. The battle's on. You see how it tested towards that 167.40s? Now I'm looking at the SPY. Will the SPY break a new low? If it breaks a new low, I got to go. Looking for it to get back above the 9 EMA here. Look at the risk there. SPY's trying to break down here, guys. Be careful. Hands off the trigger there. Now more in preservation mode as the SPY tries to make a new low. Now you look for whipsaws back. You see how I wasn't even looking to add there. A lot of that is the SPY trying to make a new low. Here goes for that low attempt, guys. Be careful. You're going to get that definitely that pressure right now on the SPY. Risking about 50 bucks on this trade right now, guys. In a second, I want to add, but the key here, staying small, staying within my range at first, then stepping up to this plate. And once I step up to the plate, I really need to get to that point where I'm break even or maybe tiny bit red on the stop. No close above that 167.60 just yet. Look at it on the 5 minute. You can see how you're trying to bottom out, but you still haven't really bottomed out. SPY still weak here. Could still come after my stop at 50 bucks. Which is 167.30s, but that's a new low. I don't want to be there if it makes a new low. It's trying to come get me, guys. Could get wicked here, and it's okay. It's going to be a sizing that we can take the hit. That's the important thing. SPY still struggling there. Struggling is the SPY, guys. Struggling is the SPY there. Can it recover here? Opening the risk to the 31s here because we might get a wick test and a wick back up here. So it's a hard part to hang through is wicks. And I'm getting a wick on the SPY here, so I'm trying to hang in there in Google right now. Just trying to hang in. If it cuts the 30s at $60, I'm out, right? Like, don't make it hard on myself. I can always get back in, back through 167.60s. That's what I did yesterday on AMD and then made a nice $600 trade. Right. So at this point, I'm just looking to see if the Google can recover and the SPY can recover fast. Right. And that's through the 9 EMA. So waiting for that moment is going to be what I'm going to do here. I did just get cut there and it was right on the low attempt. So could be because my stop's out there, I get hit. Right. That's just how it happens. But I'm also not going to wait for that moment for the wipeout move there. So now I can look for that quick move back on Google. When I get it, I can just go for it again. 300, things like that is what's the way that I got into the big green yesterday. That's what I'm going to keep going after. Should be up about $1,000 on that VIX, right? Didn't trade that the best at the gates, but we'll be watching here to see if the VIX goes for the next level. Does it rip through that 54.50s or does it reject here and come right back down? Easily could still come right back down now. 15-minute has it trying to make a breakout here towards the 54.50s. Let's see what happens. Google trying to balance out here, but can't for the time being. If I take a look at the sectors, that's important here. Financials is still in the green. So I'm looking around to see what happens, but that's from the open, right? This could easily start to really go red here. Starting to see tech get a little bit of a bounce there. Google goes lower towards 167.18. This is why you get out. Didn't even cost myself $100 there. How's the AMD? Need to go take a look at that. AMD still in the green there for me. Ooh, it's approaching those lows, trying to come back towards those levels. I don't think it will, though. Another thing could be trading off the VIXY here to the short side. So depends on how you see it, right? Do you see continued downside in the market? Then you might want to play to the upside. But looking at here for potential shorts here on the VIX. All right, there's that attempt for a down 3 here. So we could get a quick sweep back towards the top end here on the VXX, but taking a look at it for potentially shorting it here. All right, first action downside. Here comes that reversal back. I'm going to see that if it comes back through the 50s. I want to hold off, but I might going to go for a short there. I could still go for the Google trade also, but I'm going to just focus on this for right now. I could see the SPY and the Qs bottoming out, and I could see Google coming back already. So I got both trades to make. It's just more which one do I want to go after. Google right there. You can see that recovery on the 9 EMA. Looking good now on Google. It's tough to determine which one to go for. I liked Google also. I liked Google in the past. I've been calling it on the playbook, so I'm watching it right now. It's more based on the SPY here. First attempt to the downside there. And look how Google just double bottomed. 1, 2, 3, 4 bottomings at that 167.25. Looking for us to go back towards this end on the top end of the range, the resistance, and then I can go ahead and take the trade. Right now, it's tough, man. That VXX, I'm sure, just did a quick There you go. That's that quick blow off top kind of wick here. Let's see what happens. Man, it's hard to make this trade right now. This is going to be a tough one here, guys. Which way to go at it, right? I like the VIX short. I really do. But the question is, how do I take it there, right? Swing traded short. Let's see if I still got some size on the swing trade. I don't think I got the size in there. Reject. I expected it. There, it starts to make the move there. Now Google's going to look good here. I'm going to go for the Google. Yep, see the SPY starting to move there. I'm taking a little bit there, 300 on the first start. And then as it pops towards above here, towards the 60s, I'll add another 300. All right, looking good there. Watching to see if the SPY can start ripping back. Will we climb back or will we just fade off today? Fade, fade, fade. Look at the slowdown, man. I love when it does this, guys. It's just trying to, it tries to slow down, lets you load a bunch of shares, and then it tries to make a move, right? I always think it's funny when it does this little slowdown. Ramp, 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 ramp. Pause. Pause. That's why I don't like to go all size at once. All size at once has majority of the times been recipe for disaster. All right, doesn't get back through the 60s, so I don't add there. I'm just waiting. There, it starts to prop. Starts to look like a turn now, right? Does this look like an inverse head and shoulders now? There, it starts to look good here. It's the SPY not coming back. The Qs are bottoming, but the SPY is still looking like it wants to wash. Be careful out there, team. SPY still looking like it wants to wash. That's where it's hard to add on the Google trade right now because the SPY is weak, guys. The SPY is weak. It's just like, come on, man. You can't get back above 569. 570 is really the recovery level today, and that does not look like it's coming into play. Looks like weakness still coming into play here. Trying to break down here, guys. Be careful out there. SPY's trying to make another leg here. SPY looks weak, man. It's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 15-minute candles down. Impressive. Impressive pullback today. Coming for the 60 move here, guys. The SPY still on the low. It's hard to add here. It's hard to add. There's really no need for me to add with the way the market's moving right now. So it's hard for me to add on Google right now. Looking for the Qs for any sign. There it goes. That's the first sign right there. All right, I like it there. I'm adding, guys. I just added a little bit there. Now 54 is really got to hold towards that 40 first here. So really ready and focusing on risk first. I'm looking for that first expansion back. Comes to 167.80s. So once I start going to the 167.70s, I can look for another add here. I'm just trying to hold off the risk right now. It's only about $80 risk right now towards that 40. So watching the action here, looking to see if the Qs can make a move back to 485. That's the move where the tech starts to come back. So watching the Qs right now to see what happens here. look like an attempt down here. Just got to be careful for the washout. Candle goes red. Got to get out. SPY trying to break down again here, guys. It just seems like the SPY just doesn't want to make the move here today, guys. It's on the kind of just catch everybody. That's why I'm thinking the move back up here makes more sense than the move down here. It's been straight down out the open. Trying to hang on right now in Google. Hang on and see it recover this 9 EMA and really start to push, but back towards like that 167.40s, and you can approach 167 real quick. And the Q's just struggling, man. SPY struggling. VIXY trying to pop. Q's trying to come back here. Q's showing the first sign there. Let's see if the candle can go green on the SPY. 15 minutes. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little bit better here. All right here, guys. So I'm leaving it down there, and I'm going to go adding in a second here. There's Google towards the 70s. Now looking good here. Still hasn't gotten there, so that's why I'm just not adding just yet. Looking for the indexes to tell me. Okay, first recovery right there. There's the 70s. Now I just added. Now I can add even into the 60s. I'm at 60, so at this point I'm going to hold off 60s, but I'm just looking to keep adding here as it keeps moving. Pullbacks I can now add and then hold break even. I'm just looking for the next move up. Go to 167.80s, and I'll take another 300. All right, looking good here at 75s available. Looking for the push above towards the 80s. 5 minutes has it coming back. 168.30s and VWAP at 168.43s. We'll look to see if we can get back towards those levels. Right now, only risking 87 as long as the market can come back. 87 is my risk right now. I needed to get towards like 87.80s, and once it breaks that, I can hold break even. But right now, if I held break even, I'd be stopped out, right? So I think this is that last attempt where it could really break right back down here. So I'm looking to see if we can at least just clear this and get out of this range. SPY 15-minute candle tempting to go red again, but holding right there. 569. Big watch out that 569 now for the SPY. Can you make the move to 570 here now? Q's already making their way back. Look a little bit stronger than the SPY, and that's a good sign. Right now, trying to pay attention to the Qs to see what happens here. The VIX is starting to move right back down, so that's actually a good outlook. Just got to keep watching to see what happens here. I got to look at AMD in just a second. I'm getting some tests right now on that Google. I will say that. Just got a test right there, and it bounced right off of it. So there you go, back into the 60s. That's actually a good outlook there. Now it could really start to take off if the SPY can really start to go to 569.50s, 484.50s in the Qs. Just looking for that move here to happen, and then I can really size up and go for the swing. $569's holding right now. There we go, back into the green, into the 70s, looking good here, guys. I'm going to take off the stop loss here. I'm just looking for this to start moving back into above the 9 EMA 73 line, going towards the 80s, and I'm going to add another 300. There we go, back into that spot. How's the SPY and the Q's looking? Looking good. Small pullbacks here, and then the next reload should come in. Small pullbacks. Now reloads. See some buys out there right now. There we go. I like it. I'm just adding right there. Ooh, I don't even have the 300 to add. Maybe 200? Maybe 100? What is up with my buying power, man? All right, guys, just give me a second here, guys. I gotta take a look into this. I don't think I'm using all of it right now. That's so frustrating, guys. Should have 1,200 shares already. I'm gonna hit a stop loss right at my break even now. At this point, break even stop loss. There you guys see it. Break even stop loss. I would already be adding. I'd be at 1,200 shares. So still a little upset there that I don't got the 1,200 shares, but all right, guys, now we'll see if this can get going for real, right? I mean, we got up there towards like $100 or $200 there, really looking for more, right? I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for a little bit more now. Need this to start coming back towards the hourly high. This is about an hourly recovery, guys, where I can maybe make that trade towards 1,700, right back up to 169 today, maybe in a $2,000 trade, right? So I'm going to try to make like at least maybe 1,600 on this trade today, right? Maybe get on up there, right? So the best trade I've made so far is 1,200. Let's make a $1,300 or $1,500 trade, maybe a $1,600 trade all the way at the top. Trying to see what's going on here, man. Having a little bit of confusion there. Yeah, maybe I just have too much. Maybe I used all the exposure. That could be it, guys. Yeah, see the exposure there. It's pretty big. So maybe I just didn't calculate it out. It is what it is. At least I got my trade in. I'm messing around. I'm sending Michael a message right now. I'm like, yo, Michael, I want more buying power. Mas buying power now. Give me mas. Dame mas buying power. I need more. Oh, guys, it's always fun, guys, to trade with you guys. How we doing out there, traders? Savage. Ooh, look, 100 shares of AMD is paying me the same amount that 900 shares is paying me in Google. Maybe I went to the wrong one with the big account and then the right one with the small account. Who knows, man? That's just how it works sometimes. We'll see what happens, traders. All out of buying power. AMD, I'm looking at it, guys. This is doing great here, guys. Take a look at this. This is in the limited account too, so it's still a pretty good gain already here in AMD. Rising up there, guys, getting up there, really looking good. And I have the target profit towards the top end here, but it could even go higher than that. We all know how AMD loves to go. So taking away the target profit now and just securing wins as I go up here, guys. So I want to secure about $100 here and then just let the rest of it work here, because I got to get out of the kind of the red here in this account. Now I really want to see this continue just to push. I'm ways away from the action. I'm putting it literally like $1 away from the action. As it goes green here on the hourly, I do want us to keep rising up and following the action, right? So take a look at the 15 minutes. Let's go to the auto here to kind of zoom out a little bit here to take a look at what we're seeing here and look at the action coming back on AMD. It could go all the way up to the resistance there, and that's a $500 trade, right? So of course this account, I can't make the craziest. I can make about 50% of the profit there. So I could do a $400 trade on this. This would bounce me back really quickly today, guys. So let's see if I can get it up there into even the 300s. Would still be a really great trade on this account. Of course, I told you guys I was down about 384 on the account after a max red day this week on a bad trade. So the only thing you can do, keep trading, man. Keep getting after it, guys. So right now, about to get towards that 168, 169. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep watching for the 500 max poly upside, right? But I'm going to just keep rising the stop loss as I keep going through it. So now 167s, I can move it up to 166, right? 150 secured. I'm at 250s. Once I get towards, let's say 168, I can move this up to 167, which will secure me what? 250, right? And so that's the way I've been doing it lately. That's been really helping me, team. Does this make the attempt to come back to 150, like for the market makers, a little bit more? Yes, it does. But the truth is, you gotta take money when it's there. VIXY coming down, so I would love to take the profits here and then maybe go looking at the VIXY. If I could get that nice little pop right here in AMD to come towards like 168, wouldn't mind just taking the money and run and then just looking for this to keep going, right? At the top end, it's 560s here. So there's a lot to kind of make there. And if I look at the hourly is still looking really good. Hourly recover off this resistance is why we traded it in this area. So now they can start to hold here the pullback at 166.80s. Would like to see 166.80s hold as yesterday's high as we start to recover. Into the 167 we go. Let's get it. Canceling the target profit. One thing's for certain, I'd like to take that off because sometimes you get quick spikes and you get it taken off, right? So I think at this point, I just take it off just so it doesn't know where I want to take the profits. And I continue to climb up here with it. Trying to see if it can make a way to 168. Look at that, 278 looking good there. Google's continuing to climb back, guys. I'm just not even trying to watch that Google because a part of me will want to run to the profits. At this point, the trade's made, the set, just got to keep it, letting it work. VIXY looking great on that trade, guys. A little part of me is like, man, maybe just find some buying power somewhere. Look at this, guys. It's starting to break down here, and I'm looking at it, and I like the 54.40s kind of short there. Now you're back towards 54. This could easily be at 53.40s in a hurry. So we'll see what happens on the VXX there, but looking good there. Now, guys, up 260 there on AMD. Just did another little spike to the 30s. Let's see if we get to the 167.50s here, and we just continue riding up the stop loss. There you go, 167.40s, 167. 30s, 40s. Come on. Let's go, AMD. Keep it climbing, man. Keep it climbing. All right, guys, in just a second here. So what I can do is I can kind of cancel it. Whenever I feel like there's a little pressure, just cancel it and just get off of it for a second. See if you can get it through that level. Another big thing. Looking at the SPY and the Qs is what's going to matter here, guys. So I'm going to make this smaller so we can see that on the left-hand side here. But that's so important. Another way to look at this, guys, and you guys probably don't use this, but you know you can overlay the Qs in the SPY, right? You can kind of go like this and say, you know what? I want to stay with the Qs and I want to see it, right? So I want to go ahead and do the Qs. I'm going to do the Qs as a line, and I'm going to make it as a, let's do a purple line, right? I could also do a candle and a chart and something like that, but I think line is going to work here. Separate scales, you want it on the main scale. You can do it on separate scales too. That's another way to look at it, but just want to take a look at it there, right? And so what you're looking for this is to stay on the uptrend, right? And so you can draw that right next to it and look to see if that's continuing to the upside. This is the Qs overall, right? You just want to see the Qs continuing to move, and then you can go ahead and always pull it off there, right? So that's one way to look at it. You could also do the price marker. The price marker is going to help you because you're going to look on the left-hand side and you see 484 is moving higher, right? AMD moving higher. If those two are moving higher, you're looking good here. Look at that. Now we're towards that 167.50s. Oh, almost up 300 on this position, guys. This is a really good trade here for this position, and it's continuing to climb there. So looking for Google to get to the VWAP. That will be a really nice outlook. But right here, it's almost $300, guys. So in a second here, I'm going to keep looking for the 500. But now I got to go ahead and raise my stop loss, right? Keep it going, guys. Keep it going. Now I'm going to raise it to 166.50s. I secured 198 here. Still looking for more. But if I can't get it, it's okay. All right, let's go back to it. We'll keep watching this. I got 500 on the top end, 200 on the down end, right? So even if it pulls back, gets me out, I'll get out and I'll just keep pushing, guys. All right, attaching this back as I want to go ahead and look at the Google trade. Let's go take a look here. Up about 196 here, and Google is just not running as much as the other ones are. So I'm just keeping a close eye on that. Can also do the same thing for Google, right? We can take a look at that in correlation, right? That's a very important outlook. So I'm watching it right now to see what happens, right? Google is trading almost side by side with the Qs. It's literally, it's almost like a mimic, right? And so with that being said, I'm not liking the action on Google as much as I'm liking the action in AMD or others. So we could get this move back to the range. So at this point, I got to make sure I pay myself, right? So I am getting these pullbacks here where it just isn't going as much as I wanted to do in Google. But now it's more dependent on the SPY. Because if the SPY comes back to 569, we're kind of SOL'd. It's already pulling back a significant amount here, guys. So the second, I might just take the money and run in Google. It's not looking good there. All right, guys, this is pulling back a little too fast here. So it's going to probably cut me out here in a second. It's Google. I'd rather get out in Google and reassess with my sizing because I used all my buying power there and it wasn't getting me much return. All right, there it comes bouncing a little bit there. I'm looking to see if it bounces and doesn't hit me. I have a stop right now at 66. But it wouldn't be for much. Need this to get right back up there. So at the top, I was up about 530s there, 533s. So there it goes. It just triggered me. It just came after me, hunting me down. The Q's pulling back a little bit there. Maybe should have been watching the Google and maybe taking a little bit of a profit there. With the ads, I probably would have been closer towards 600-700. Maybe could have taken that off there. But hey, just going to keep working it, guys. I've missed now about 1,500. So that's just one thing to think about. Opportunity costs. I'm battling. You guys see it, guys. Let's keep battling. Q's might make a down attempt here. They're definitely pulling back a little bit. It's at the resistance, so could still pull back a little bit here. We'll see what happens. VIX still now down to 54. Definitely got that 54.40s wash. We'll see if it keeps going lower today and breaks down and the Qs take off. AMD still pushing on that in the limited account. This was the trade, guys. I remember I was trying to add, 200, 300 shares. I was trying to take 300 shares in this AMD. This one would have been an awesome one, right? So on the bigger account, I probably should have gone after this one. I've gone after this one before. Yesterday, 600 shares. And that would have been an awesome trade already here. Almost to the 168 there. So in a second here, I'll be able to kind of secure a little bit more profits in AMD. Definitely reaching that trend line. So in a second here, I just want to keep raising it up. All right, guys, put it to the 67s, 167. So at this point, what am I doing? I'm just trying to make sure that I gain. In a second here, I can put the account into the green and I'll probably just take the money and run. Not a bad trade here in AMD, guys. You guys can see it here. I'll show it right on the chart there. Just got close to that 168 break. Once we break that 168, go to 168.50s, I can raise this stop loss and just keep grinding higher. Nice little push there. I'm going to move it up to 280s, guys, as it keeps moving. It could keep going back to lows, but we're making higher and higher lows. In a second here, that could change trend, and I want to make sure that I secure profits here. So just looking for the break above the 168 to drop this. You can see how it's slowing down right there. So that could be the topping action. That's a trend line attempt here. There it goes, back to that 168. Now we're getting AMD to get a little hot here. Let's go. Let's approach that breakout. I'm going to move this towards 293s, guys. 293s. In a second, we could pull back and it could hit me there. But hey, at this point, just got to keep grinding up with the action. There you go, dropping it there. It hits 168s just for a second. Let's see if it goes back into the 168s or 167s, or does it take the 168 and wants to go towards 168.50s? You guys can see the max target profit, and when it gets closer, it has a tendency of slowing down. So what I do is I cancel that one. No target profit is needed if you have a stop loss. Look for VWAP rejection on the Qs. I like it, Rando. I like it, guys. How we doing out there, traders? I'll tell you one thing. This week has been a week that has put my fist up in the sky and saying, guess what? I am not letting you win, market, because it's not just easy trading, right? You guys see it. It hasn't been easy, but there's one thing for certain. Got to be a fighter. Got to be willing to go ahead, take the hit, boom, but deliver one back. Let's go, team. Get after it out there. All right, 168.12s continuing to rise and pushing strong. Google got me out and washed me out, guys. Google got me, guys. They got me on that turn down. It's right back to 168 and could just keep going with the market today. That was a mistake trade right there, guys. And I'm going to look back at these and I'm going to always review, right? Like always, I'm going to be as transparent with you guys, as obvious as I can be. At that point, should have just left it break even and walked away, right? 167.60. I got out there at 166. There was no point. It went to 164. Maybe it would have got me at 160. But break even, guys, is a better way to approach it a lot of the times because it's going to give me the potential for big returns and still keep the losses small. Small gains don't really mean much to me here. And they don't give me a nice little push in the eval, right? That's the one thing to think about. Now, Google's a little bit ways away here. And if I go chasing for it here, I'm chasing, right? Just got to be honest, guys. And that's one thing I'll always be with you guys. All right, let's take a look here. AMD, and we need to take a look here to see what happens there. Oh, look at AMD go. Let's go. 168.20s. All right, guys, we're up there. Now I want to secure what? The account back into the green. Let's go. Let's go. Get it back up there. Go to the 169. Looking for 168.50s to be taken out, and you guys can see me pulling this stop loss as we keep the momentum higher. I want to keep pulling it and looking to see if this can go higher, but also willing to take the money. At this point, for sure, 300. Which is a great trade in this account. Great trade in the limited account. And only 100 shares. Just shows you guys, you don't need much. Nvidia now back to 124s. We were looking at that when it was back at 122.50s. That was a big one too. VIXY giving a little spike there. So at this point, getting to the point where I might just take some profits, guys. It's not getting towards the 168.50s. We're going to take this money and run here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and set up here 168 on the pullback. Will get me my 350 and out. If it pulls back and it doesn't break the 168 here, well, it can keep going. At this point, I'm okay with willing to take that money and run. Of course, this account is in the red, so I need to pay myself. And at this point, just looking for the expansion back to 169 for more money. But cut 168, I want out. Not bad, guys. Not bad. Not bad trading today, guys. It's been a battle, right? I think that on the VXX on the main account, should have got that first profit. And that's where I really think that things go, right? Because I'm trying to get that nice first $1,000 cushion to take the next $1,000 cushion, right? And things like this are so important. Once you have a cushion, you can really work on the day. So building cushions is really important. I learned this also in the competition, right? And so if you guys don't know about it, right, in the competition, I always tried to make a cushion in the morning and then use that cushion to take bigger bets. I think this is part of trading too, is trying to find that way to make money and use the house's money to take bigger bets. Of course, there's no right or wrong answer to this, but I think it's important. What do you think about Amazon for a swing trade for next week if they have a Prime Day? So I think the Prime Days are losing their juice, Jose. Why? Because other retailers are battling against Amazon. The problem with thinking is that it used to be just very simple. Prime Day meant more sales for Amazon. Now what happens? Well, I can tell you exactly what's happening. The retailers are targeting Amazon. They're saying, well, Amazon, if you're going to have a Prime Day on this day and you're going to tell us when you're going to do it, well, guess what we'll do? We'll have a sale also. So right now you have a sale going on what? You're going to have a sale going on in Walmart Plus. You're going to have a sale going on in Target Circle, right? And so essentially, what are they trying to do? They're just trying to battle back Amazon for their Prime Day. We'll give the same sales that you're doing, right? Or similar sales that you're doing, and we'll cut into those margins that you get on Prime Day. So this could be a bet, right? It will be showing up in the news, and you're buying it early, Jose, so I kind of like that. The only question is, what happens in the market with all this Middle East situation? That's where it gets very difficult, because if you don't expect anything to expand and you just want to take a bet on that, you have your opportunity, Jose. And it's scary because being long swings on moments when you can have, heightened macro situations, it's very scary. But just like always, just try to stay with the trade and always understand the risk on both sides. All right, guys, there it is, 168.50s, 168.55s. Just looking for this to break through the high and continue climbing. If it gets to 169, I will put the stop towards 165, 168.50s. That's $400, right? So we're trying to make the move higher, which is the pattern, right? Higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. At this point, we don't want to see the 168.16 break. But it could break, right? The candles are getting what? Smaller. The bodies are getting smaller. That tells me momentum's slowing down. We need to watch the Qs and the SPY for signals that we're topping, right? And the Qs, you can see this Qs right here. This is that purple line. That purple line is giving me a representation of that, right? And we can look to see if this goes higher. A big part of what I wanted to talk about today was different kind of candles that you guys can be using on just the Trade the Pool platform. Take a look at bar charts, guys. Bar charts are really awesome. I think they're sometimes some of the best ways to trade because it really gives you the opportunity of understanding highs and lows, right? I can change this to being a different color so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me know if you guys want me to do that. But I think it's so important to catch this, guys, because it helps us really see especially these bottoming patterns, how they work, right? So you get this kind of close here, open. Where is it closing, right? It closes near the top. Then you get this approach right back towards the support. These give this approach to really just look at this as a range, and trying to add on breakouts and breakdowns, things like that is a good way to go about it in the bar charts, right? So we'll take a look at some other charts right now in a second here, but just watching the action here, I just wanted to show you guys that right on the chart. Q slowing down, telling me that symbol that we might get the pullback here, guys. So sometimes you could just run to the profit there. You see how the Q's slow down there? Look like it wants to go red candle here. So I'm watching that. Does it change the trend also? Is it a higher low trend, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low. Does this going to change here? And that's when momentum usually looks for some pullback. Does it mean that this is done? No, it could pull back to the VWAP and keep going, right? But I'm not going to let it go back to the VWAP there, because if I do, I miss out on some gains, right? So just kind of raising the stop loss with it. And then if I wanted to, I could get back in at VWAP. We'll see what happens here. It did try to make that move above 168.60s, got to 168.55. Higher low just closed there. So 168.14, we wouldn't want to see that break now. Let's see what happens here. You can see how you're trying to get back up there, but it easily could break the trend. And then at that point, I want to get out. So getting ready to see that trend head towards that 168.18. But if it just keeps rising, let it keep going, guys. We'll see what happens here, guys. Not a bad little gain for the limited account, I'll tell you that much. See, it's slow, 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 but it could like hold that, right? Hold the body closes right now, that 30 spot. There's a nice little push there. There's a push to the upside. That's a nice attempt to go towards the 169. Let's see if they take it. And AMD was one that I talked about early today, guys. And this is a big one because I saw the price action yesterday. Price action was telling me that it wanted to go. Slowing down on the top end. So you see you're getting higher and higher low high expansion. So definitely slowing down here. But you did get a little bit of some buyers to step up there at the 164.30s. Now if this goes red candle, you got to take the money. It's also, it could be some selling also on that ramp up. There's that attempt now back towards the top end here. Gonna raise it up a little bit more to kind of secure. I mean, it doesn't make too much. It's about 10 bucks if I raise it up there. So I'm leaving it at the 350 spot. Another thing you can do is certain times where you feel like it's at a pressured point, you can always take it off, right? You can just cut out of it for a second. Looking at the Qs just gave our first red candle on the 5 minute. I wouldn't want it to see it break its lows, because if it does that, the reversal comes back down. So now I can really kind of start getting closer and closer to the action, because we're getting to that point where we could break down. Just continuing to climb it closer and closer. Now secured 360s, could take the 380s, but what is it? $20 more. Just giving it the ability to keep working in the green. But if it flips, I take the money and I run, right? So take a look at the action right here on AMD. Not looking too bad there, right, guys? So we'll see if we're able to take that money and run here. Smash it up, guys. Full disclosure. Full showing you guys it all. Build orders, positions. Look at that, guys. That's what it's all about on this stream. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys are sharing this with your friends and telling everybody to come on over to this live trading stream, so that not only, hey, even if you don't trade with Trade the Pool, you could still be in here, guys, and hang out. I might not like you as much, but still. AMD trying to work higher. Can we get it to go? I'll tell you one thing, guys. No matter what, today on this is going to be a good day. Like always, let it rain. Let it rain. Let it rain, baby. Let it come down on you. Let them bills hit you. They're a little dirty, though, but let them hit you. And this is on the main limited account. Guys, I only need $13.50 for this account. This trade is pretty much 30-40% of that, right? I just got it, guys. I just got out 360 there. There's the pullback in AMD, and it goes wicked right back to the downside, and it could go right back up there, maybe be at 170 later today. You don't get upset about that. Hell of a trade there, guys. Bought it at the low here, 164.51. The low was 164.42. Selling it at the resistance, right back up there. Nice trade there, guys. What do you guys think about that one? Not a bad one, right? Not a bad trade at all, right? Look at that, guys. Buy 164.50s, sell 168.12s. Not a bad one there on AMD today. Hope you guys enjoying that, and hope you guys are enjoying the limited account. Let's go. All right, there's that downside action coming in the market. Now we're going to start to see a little bit of some VIXy spike there. Look at the spike that's going on here. Right back up there. And that's why I like the VXX. It's a little faster moving, but holy moly, is it fast, right? The VXX, the VIXy, I just kind of hang out when I see these spikes. They don't freak me out because it's a spike of what, right? It's a spike of 10 cents there versus the VIX or the VXX. And that one's a spike of what? That's a 30 or 40 cent spike, right? So, hey, we'll see what happens. Can it make it all the way back to the resistance? That could happen here. It's more about the market. What will happen here? Will we start to bleed out? So let's go take a look at the sectors right here. Holy crap, it's 11:15, guys. I got to get the hell out of here, guys. What the hell happened today? The market didn't want to stop for me. I'm sorry about that, guys. I got to get out of here, guys. It's 11:15. Gotta go. I'll see you guys back tomorrow, of course. Not tomorrow, on Monday, of course, guys. I'm going to keep trying to trade, guys. I made a great trade in that trade. I'm glad you guys got to see it close. That's really what it's all about. Really good day, battling in both accounts. Missed a little bit on the main account. Guys, up 64. Just going to keep it going. Swing trades all in the green. Looking great, guys. Up 403 on that Pakar. I got to get out of here, guys. Much love to you guys all. We'll see you guys back tomorrow. Hit the like for me. And please hit that share button. I want to see some more shares today, guys. If you do me the favor, share it on Twitter. Let everybody know about this stream.